Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Davis, and you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back to the basics. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by Pocket Jack Comics, who have books like Paso the Golden Princess and White Lily, and can find their books at pocketjackcomics.com. And I believe they are still with your company in distributing Phillip Distribution. So obviously you could go check out their books there. Hopefully they didn't leave you. If they did, this is going to be really awkward. But obviously, that's my guest's company. But enough about that, because I have Phillip Russertt with me. So welcome to the show.
Hey, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no. I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on. I'm always happy to have you on. This is the second time you're on, and you got a lot going on. Obviously, you have a Kickstarter going on, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But why don't you quickly introduce who you are? Because as I kind of tip my hat a little bit off, you run a distribution company, you're doing some comic printing, some getting books into shops, as well as a variety of other tools, traits, and other things you do. So why don't you quickly introduce yourself before we get into the Kickstarter and maybe some other shenanigans?
So, Phil Russertt, I've run conventions. I was an art rep. I'm a publisher. I'm now a worldwide distributor of independent comics. And we are about to launch our print-on-demand initiative, where we'll have the cheapest printing prices in the United States with no minimums. And we're excited. And mixing it with the distribution is big for publishers. Nobody's done this before on this level like this. And if you're not distributing through us, you can still obviously get the cheapest prices and print through us. So that'll be launching very soon.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this a little bit, but I do want to get into the Kickstarter you got going on right now, which is, Papa, and that chapter 2, I believe, is on Kickstarter right now. And, there's a lot going on with this. So what is the basic premise of it before we dive into it? Because it is an interesting story, and there's some cool stuff with it in play.
So basically, unfortunately, like the end of the first issue has a really good cliffhanger that catches everybody off guard. Even Chuck Dixon didn't see it coming. So I can't spoil that. But what I will tell you is a 75-year-old Vietnam vet who is close to his granddaughter but not close to his son. Him and the granddaughter get caught between the Yakuza trying to take a hit on the Italian Mafia. Something happens. The Italian Mafia kidnap the granddaughter, and this old Vietnam vet needs to find a way to save her, protect his family, and get them back. And it's not what you think it is. I mean, it sounds like Gran Torino, nobody and everything put together, but it really isn't. You're not going to see what's coming. But it's also written like a Silver Age tale, because he's a good guy. He doesn't want to kill. He doesn't kill, so he finds ways to take care of this without killing anybody. Everybody who has read this book says it's real. The dialogue is so real that it was really interesting, that they were really into it, and that the ending caught them off guard. They were just like, wow, the ending was incredible, including Chuck Dixon. So the problem is, it's called Papa, and it's with an old man, and I'm not a well-known writer, so people kind of look at it skeptically, but everyone who reads it really enjoys it. So I'd ask you to go give it a shot.
So I want to get into this a little bit, because obviously there's a lot going on here. So on the surface, I mean, it's an interesting, I guess, circumstance, right? Because you have a guy at the end of his life. His relationship with his son is not great, but he's got a decent relationship with his granddaughter. And we got this whole family dynamic going on here. And look, I mean, I don't know how you feel about families, but families are complicated, right?
As they are in this book. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just speaking about life in general. We could go with this book too. Oh, my family life is complicated, right? And relationships evolve, relationships change, all sorts of stuff. But we have that in play. But then what happens when the thing you cherish, love, enjoy, and you're grabbing an ice cream cone with disappears? That's innocent. And now she's caught up in this whole thing, because that's how I viewed the book, right? Maybe I'm misreading things here, and then it's this idea that, like, how do you protect that thing, right? But and also protect yourself. And
well, the underlying current is the underlying current is, don't get me wrong, I love women. I appreciate women. Without women, there'd be no life. But women will get their flowers. They will get their credit. They will get a lot of acknowledgement, um, in many cases, but men don't. Men suffer in silence. Men basically, if they were in the war, they're suffering silently with PTSD, but they're raising their families, working jobs they hate, doing what they have to do. Men sometimes, like, they're they're suffering and struggling emotionally inside, but they don't feel they can go to anyone. They're not going to show weakness in their mind. They go to that job they hate, and they still come home and answer the toy phone for their little girl, or go to the football practice for their son or for their girl, daughter, and they they strap up, and they go to work, and they do what they have to do, and Father's Day they barbecue their own meal. They just there is a generation of men, and there are men now, even in this generation, that don't want to burden anybody. They want to be part of, they just want to, they do what they have to do, and they are who they have to be for the people that count on them and they love. And this is that tale.
So let's get into that a little bit, because I mean, I hate to turn this into a men's right activist position here, but there is something to be said about being a guy and doing what you got to do and protecting your family and making sure they're safe. And I mean, Bruce, who's the main character, is 75 years old. Obviously, he's a Vietnam vet, and he's going to do what he's got to do to get his granddaughter back and protect his family from internal threats, which is his secrets that he's been hiding, which is a big thing that's going on, as well as the external threat that's obvious. And I think there's something to be said about that, right? Because there, I don't know how you feel, but like, I don't want to say everything is so soft now, right, in society, but there is that element in comics and writing. I mean, and it's nice to see a hardened guy go do what he's got to do and almost be like Punisher-esque. I don't know how to explain it, like, because there's something missing, right?
Well, and that's the thing, right? He's not so much Punisher-esque where he just goes in guns a-blazing. It's much more detailed and complicated than that, as you know by that last page. Because he is hiding a secret that he's getting blamed for from his son, because his son doesn't understand the sacrifice he made in keeping this secret. But he's a man who has seen war, has seen death, has seen violence on a level that most average people haven't. And he doesn't want any more of it. He doesn't want this. But like you said, that's the most cherished thing in his life, his granddaughter. That's his granddaughter. That's his cherished family. And despite his son and him having that kind of tumultuous relationship, that's his son. He'll do anything for them, which is part of that sacrifice. You'll get the blame sometimes being a parent, because there's no guidebook, there's no handbook. But if I'm the bad guy, I'm the bad guy, but I'm still going to do what I got to do to help them be strong and raise them and protect them and take care of them.
So, because there's something to be said about writing stories like this, engaging in stories like this, because I don't want to say it's a raw story, but you kind of, I guess maybe you phrased it best, where it's almost like Silver Line, Silver Age-esque in many ways, where we get good American values essentially out of this story. And I don't know how you feel about writing, but there is something where I feel like everybody is, I don't want to say, they're kind of trying to be safe in writing, right? And they're not trying to create good American, good basic, dare I say, conservative values to some degree, and traditional values, right? Because there's been a real challenge, and that's what I get out of the book, right? I mean, I'll just say what I'm thinking and feeling here, but like, this book presents traditional values and family values and doing what you got to do, and like there is something where there's pushback in that right now in society. So I don't know if you feel
well threatened. I mean, I haven't had any pushback, and I don't know if it's conservative or not, because my brother's a big Democrat. I have a lot of big Democrat friends, and their family values as well. Because writing a book about the nuclear family does not mean that I have anything against any other type of family. It's just, this is what story I'm writing, because this is what I relate to, right? They say write what you know, right from where you are, and it's kind of based on personal experience.
let me rephrase. So there is a position where I mean, look, I'm not a parent. I'm single. Obviously, I'm in a relationship with a girl. But we're taking things slow, and right now we're enjoying each other, and everybody can take however they want to take that. But eventually, if we start a family, like my objective is to protect my family, right? I
Sure.
mean, if I have a kid, it's to protect my family, right? There is, I don't know if everybody has that value, right? To me, it seems natural, right? That I would have that if I have a child and I want to protect, if she becomes my wife, I want to protect her, right? So like I'll walk on the side of the street where the cars are passing by and put her in the inside, right? Same thing with my child. But like there's all
Right.
these books that I see that
Right.
do the exact opposite. That's why I say your book's interesting, right? Because I read the
Well,
first.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because it's not typical of today's societal views. I like I said, I just write from what I know. It's kind of from my own experiences, my own um, life, you know, the things that have happened in my life. And when I wrote the book, and then I sent the script to my dad, who's now gone, and he was like, "Is this about us?" Because him and I had a tumultuous relationship for different reasons. Um, Growing up, and we only got close 2 years before his passing. And I was like, I didn't think about that. If you actually, I guess it is. And I was just writing. I wanted to write a story with an aged protagonist because even though it's been, they have some stories with that, it's not commonplace. And I did want to write something about the value of family because to me, and again, this is just my personal experience, there is no greater motivator to be a better person, to be a protector, to be a defender than family. And that's it. I mean, my life is so much more enriched for being a father and a husband. And that I take that seriously. And I'm very proud of that. Trying to be the best I can, but I also recognize I'm going to make mistakes. My kids are going to get mad at me. They're going to blame me for stuff, But at the end of the day, every single thing I do in this life is to try to be the man they deserve. And I just wanted to write a story about that, I mean, because everybody's writing about, girl boss or this guy or that guy or whatever. And, you
So
know,
let me
I
ask
didn't
you
want to do
this.
that.
Let me ask you this because I don't know how you feel, but I mean, there's stuff that obviously I'm a fan of that's not suggested. And look, I mean, we'll use Sunstone as an example, right? So people obviously, this isn't you, but there was a lack of positioning where sexual adult content and not like just pure sex and taboo, but actual adult relationships and consent and things like
Right.
that was being missed in comics, and certain people have capitalized on that and have killed it with it, right? Because there was a starving niche, right? So, like, there's a position where I think what you're writing is that it's a missed niche because there's plenty of people who say, "Look, I want to read about family values. I want to read
Right.
a story that captures
Sure.
me being a dad, right?" And there's something to be said about that because there's nothing wrong with Girl Boss, by the way. That's perfectly fine. I love.
Right. But everybody's doing it. I mean, I even do it. Tragedy.
Yeah. So the point though is that it's fine to do it. I have no problem with people doing it, but it's also necessary. Somebody says, "I'm going to go tackle this area where nobody's doing this because it's a niche," and there's something to be said about that because people are starving for that content, right? I mean, I don't know your political affiliations, but Greg Gutfeld is killing it on Fox with late night with Gutfeld, his late night show, and he's beating in many ways Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel because for the longest time there was nobody in the conservative movement doing late
Right.
night stuff, and he's brand new to it, and all these conservatives are watching it because they've never had this before, right? It's not
Right.
he's good or bad, it's just that this has never been a niche position. So there's something to be said about that when you touch that. So I don't know if you feel it's that or it's just, hey, I just want to write a story and I'm just going to write what I think and feel, because there is something to be said though when you're filling a niche, right? Because I'm starved for certain content that fits
Right.
my need, right? And when I get it, I love it and I consume it like wildfire.
Well, I'll give you an example. It's like The Boys, okay, for example. Uh, did I watch The Boys like everybody else? Sure. But do I feel like there's too many evil Supermans and everything's too dark and gruesome these days? I do. It's like pop culture tends to follow a bandwagon and lead so far with one genre or idea that it gets overused and played out. And I don't like to be a bandwagoner. I don't like to jump on the current thing. Um, and I think writing should be the antithesis to that. Writing shouldn't be, I'm going to write because this is what's hot right now, and maybe I can jump on this and get a Netflix deal, or they'll buy my book because right now it's hot to be gay and lesbian. I don't care. Write your books about gay and lesbian, and there's nothing wrong with that. But everybody's doing it. So my point is, I just wanted to write what mattered to me and what was on my mind at the time and what came up. And usually, what's on my mind is not the norm. It is not what's out there and is the mainstream bandwagon thing. It's just not. Um, I mean, that's probably just part of my personality, right? Because if everybody else is doing it, why do I want to do it too? It's like it's being said 50 different ways by 50 different people, some good, some not. I'll say something else. I'll talk about something else. There's so many topics to cover. Why pigeonhole yourself to one niche area?
So you mentioned something that I want to touch on that I think is interesting, is that obviously I beat to my own drum, and I don't know how you operate, but I'll interview whoever I want, whenever I want, whether it's
Right.
topical, intopical, and I don't really care, right? And I've turned down sponsorship money because they wanted to control the show, and I just said no, thank you. It's not for me. You're either on board and you're going to trust me that I'm going to do what I think is right, or it's going to be problematic and I can't take
Right.
you as a sponsor. So if I want to interview somebody who's a crypto bro, and then somebody who's a wrestler, and then somebody who's in comics and a cosplayer and a video game designer, I'm going to go do all that, right? And
Sure.
you're going to have to conform to the position because I operate best when I'm absolutely free. And great if it goes against the grain or it works in the grain, whatever. But I have to be authentic to me. And I don't know how you feel, but like there is a realm where I don't know if
Well,
you're feeling what I'm feeling, but how many times you come across somebody like, man, that person's a good writer, but they don't feel authentic on the
yeah,
topic.
like I said, too many people are writing for the wrong reasons. They don't want a day job. They want to make it a Netflix movie. I don't think they're writing for the sake of storytelling, but some people. But as far as beating my own drum, you're talking to a guy that started worldwide distribution, is doing print on demand with distribution. I've got a lot of naysayers. I've got a lot of haters. I've had people that say I wouldn't make it 6 months. People, trying to knock me down constantly, creating YouTube channels about me, yada, yada, yada. And I just continue to go by I do what I need to do for me and my family, and I don't worry about everybody else, because not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's gonna like your writing, not everybody's gonna agree with you, and I don't care. Your opinion of me is none of my damn business.
I mean, look, I care what people think about me
I really
within.
don't.
So let me explain. So I care if people say, "Oh man, that's a stand-up guy. The guy's not a rat." So that guy, you
Well, the
could never.
only people that would say that about me are guys that aren't stand-up guys and are rats. So that's why I don't care. If you look at the people that bash me, you'll see exactly what they are. Because the people who see, I lead with my actions more than anything. And I do a lot to try to help the community and be there for people. I don't preach about how good I am and how great I am and I do this and I do that. And I don't self congratulate and pat myself on the back because I'm just a schmuck like everybody else trying to get through the day.
Oh,
And
see, I'm so different. Which I love touting how good I am because I am. I mean, I'm one of those guys that I'll tell you how good I am on
yeah,
certain things,
I
right?
don't
Like I
want to
don't.
be famous. I don't want everybody to adore me. I just want to have a life that I can live and enjoy and feel proud of. And I just want to be the man my wife and kids deserve. That's it.
So what I tout out is, oh man, it's got this sick car, and I'm so thrilled about it. I'm so stoked about it, right? But I'm not going to tout that I made a boatload on Netflix. But I did. I want to make that crystal clear here. Boy, was I smart on that trade. But not the point here. Like, because what I learned is that if you want to be liked, is don't help anybody. Just be quiet. Just say yes. You'll be loved.
And that's the sad truth, right? It's the guy who does nothing and just sits on the fence that everybody gets along with. You're right, because you're not picking a side or doing something. I agree,
I'll
but
put
I
it this
don't care
way.
about any of that.
I'll put it this way. I told everybody to buy Netflix at 177. Legit like 18 months ago. Nobody listened to me. Everybody said you're gonna lose all your money, and I wound up making a fuck ton of money on that. I'm like, that was interesting, guys. Who was right on this trade? Should I tell everybody my next stock trade? Not really. I'm not so gun-ho on that because I don't like being told I'm wrong when I'm right. I really don't like being told when I'm wrong when I'm right. Now, granted, every once in a while I'm wrong. I want to make this crystal clear. Like last night with the Knicks, definitely not one of my finer moments, but it was not my fault. It was the referees that screwed up that game. And neither Brunson didn't show up. I don't want to talk about it. I'm a little sore from it. But I'm right a lot more than I'm wrong is the point. But I stopped paying it. But like what I care about is that I don't want somebody to ever say, "Oh man, that guy." Like in my eBay business, I don't get from my clients on eBay that guy's gonna screw me. My clients sometimes understand that, hey, it might take 50 days for me to get you your item, but it's not my fault. It's that Topps is delayed or Panini's delayed. But my clients never ever doubt that they're not going to get their shit.
Well, I look at it this way, right? A lot of people, when you run a business, like I have a friend who I think is a really, really good person, and they are concerned with their public reputation because they're they're small publishers trying to sell books, etc. And I guess they just don't worry about that, and I'll tell you why. You could be the greatest person in the world and someone's still going to hate you, and they're going to tell somebody who doesn't know you that they should hate you too because you're this, that, and the next thing, and that person's going to believe them without even saying a word to you. And you're going to have people that just don't like you, and there's no real reason for it, whether it's jealousy or just because they listened to somebody else or because they didn't like one opinion that you had. People want to just be angry and hate everybody these days, and you can't control that. So my philosophy is I can't control you, and I'm not going to try to, but I can control me. And it's real simple. I'm not going to empower you by worrying about what you think about me. That means I can't post this, I can't say this, I can't do that. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I post what I want to post. I say what I want. I have friends that go, dude, maybe you shouldn't post that. I don't give a shit, because those who know me know that I'll give you the shirt off my back, and I try to be a good person. I'm not perfect. I screw up. I can be an asshole sometimes unintentionally, but never malicious. Never malicious. And then people come after me maliciously. And if you want to believe those people, well, then that's your own weak-mindedness. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. The only people that I'm ever going to try to prove anything to are my wife and my children, and that's because they deserve me proving and earning that. Nobody else does. I'm not on this earth to audition for anybody.
So I agree with you on like 95% of that, right? So look, I mean, I run a business and I care about my clients, right? And most of my clients understand and are rational, reasonable people, right? They say, okay, cool. But once in a while, you get somebody who leaves you a negative feedback. Say, oh, a person took me 6 weeks to get me my item. And I'm like, okay, I can't control you, but I care about my reputation, which I don't ever want to be called
out. How many major artists in this industry are assholes? Everybody knows they're an asshole, and they're still going to sell out their books. People don't care. They don't care. They forget quickly.
I've dealt with plenty of major artists who are the nicest human beings on the planet too. Like one of my
favorite people. My point is though, love, hate, it doesn't matter. People will always have their haters, and they'll always have their fans. They're going to have both. You can't sway it one way or the other. You have no control over that. All you can control is give the best customer service possible. Do what you can to be there for your customer, and that's it.
No. So I mean, I care about my reputation, and if I have a 98% good customer reputation level, I'm thrilled, right? I'm upset when it gets down to 92%, right? So like that was the point I was trying to make, is that I can't get everybody. Nobody, you're never ever going to get 100%. There's been, I think, one person in the Hall of Fame who has 100%, right? And it's not Derek Jeter. And Derek Jeter's
Well,
perfect in
I
many
guess
ways.
I guess I look at it this way. If I went to your eBay store and I saw 92% and I read the negatives, people focus on the negative. They like to. So if there's 100 reviews and 6 are negative and 6 say he's a total douche, he didn't blah blah blah. For some reason, people buy that 6 instead of the 94 that said you were great. I don't do that because I don't know if those 6 people just have a heart on for you. Like if they didn't like you for some reason and they're like, you know what, screw that asshole, and they just being petty. I don't.
They are. They're very
And
difficult.
that's my point. And
Worse.
as someone who's been on that side of people coming after you, I who care? I don't care.
I want to make this crystal clear on eBay, right? Here's what happens on eBay, right? So, okay, I give somebody. So the way it works on eBay in my store is that if you pre-sale for me, I get wholesale, so I pass those sales on to you, but you're gonna have to wait, right?
Right.
So the second I get the item in, it goes up by about 30%, the price of the item, once it's physically in my hand, right? But if you order from me on a pre-sale, I get the discount, you get the discount, and everybody's making money. Everybody's getting, I'm making a little money, you're saving some money, and so you have to wait and you trust the system, right? That's the deal. It's an unspoken rule, by the way, in the card community, and more so in cards than comics. Perfectly fine, right? Everybody's cool with it. There are people like, dude, I don't give a shit if I have to wait 6 months. You always deliver. I got clients who keep coming to me. They're like, dude, you always deliver. So I don't give a shit if you take 6 months because you're going to take care of me, and you always do. Right. And sometimes what happens is that I'll have an extra parallel or an extra rare card. I'm like, yo, you want it? And I offered to them before it even is offered to anybody else. And this is how you get really good with customers. And this is when they love you, right? So the other people who go shit say, oh my God, I ordered on Sunday night. Why isn't shipped out on Sunday at 6 o'clock?
Well, again, people are unreasonable. You can't change that.
And so those are where your petty reviews come in. I'm like, dude, you ordered it on Sunday at 2 o'clock.
But again, 94% of your people are going to look at those reviews and know that they're just bullshit or they're not reasonable. Here's a little example, and it's a little
not even 94, like 99%. It's insane because they're like, shit, dude, like you actually get this shit, and then people down, and then they get like, dude, I doubted you, man. I'm glad I'm wrong. Let me know when you got something next coming. Like I've had clients who've done that and said, dude, I didn't think you were this good. And I'm like, yeah, man. Like he's like, oh, I doubted you.
Over with your actions. Nothing you say will do it. It's what you do. And like a little off topic, but on topic is today I posted something. Someone was talking about this guy has got his degree and he's trying to work with AI to make life last longer, for us to live longer. And I just wrote, well, I don't know if we need to live longer. We just need to live better. And someone wrote back to me, why don't you stop with your hate? Your life is up to you and how you live it. Stop blaming everybody else. And I'm like, what? Now, for all I know, that person's not on their meds, or they're just they're in, their frontal lobe is not working correctly. I don't know, but like I didn't even respond to that person. Like, what? Why? I mean, really? Like, if that's what you got out of what I said, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. I'm not worried about you problems anymore. I used to. I don't anymore. I am not worried about a you problem. I'm worried about a me problem. If I said something or I did something wrong and you call me out, I'll be the first to apologize. But if you're going to take what I say out of context, or you're going to put your issues on me and flip out and act like a weirdo jackass, I don't give a rat's ass what you think about me. I don't care about the dynamic duo from Chicago. I don't care about the white knight protector of the independent industry. I don't care about any of them. I don't. They keep saying what they say. They keep doing what they do. They can't hurt me. I don't care. They don't matter.
See, so it's interesting, right? I'll ask you a question that's personal, maybe, and you don't have to answer it.
You can answer it. You can ask it.
I'm gonna ask it anyway. I wasn't the person to ask the question. I was just giving you an excuse not to answer. That's all I was doing. So it took me a long time, and this is very, very open and honest, is that to realize that a bunch of people actually don't really have the power they think they have, right?
Correct.
Very few people have real power that could fuck up your life. I mean,
Correct.
very few people have real power that could fuck up your
Correct.
life. So it took me a while, right? And this is not just in my personal sector. There's people in wrestling who I will never, ever oppose in the wrestling circuit that I'm a part of as a fan, right? I will never oppose them because they are definitely beneficial and I have to actively agree with them no matter what it is, because it would be political suicide for me to do anything else.
Sure.
I thought people in comps I couldn't oppose. It turns out in the last 6 months, I can oppose a lot of fucking people, and there are no fucking consequences, and there are benefits. But and I feel stupid saying it the way I'm saying it. And maybe it's a trade secret. I'm gonna get shit for it. I don't give a shit. But like I realized that I opposed, and nothing happened to me. No negativity happened to me. No result happened to me. And you know what is, and even if the negative did happen, maybe I cut out the fat because I think some covert bullshit happened to me, and I call it covert bullying. But maybe those people who are in the club or in the cult, for lack of a better word here, or maybe they're in the MLM, if we're gonna go with it, yeah, some PBD for you right there. If you don't know how I'm speaking in code, I'm sorry, get your Amadex out, but not the point here. But there's really no consequence. And I don't know how you feel about it, but like it took me a long time to realize that there's no consequence for a lot of shit.
Well, it took me a while to learn to really understand. I mean, like I knew this mentally, but I had to understand it emotionally. Just remember this. No one ever punches down because they're already above you, so they don't give a shit. They punch up. So the people that are swinging at me see me as a threat, see me as doing more than them, see me as something maybe that they're jealous of. That's not my concern. I don't care. I don't care. I I do care when you dox my home and put my family in jeopardy, and that you're going to have to pay for someday, and you will. But all the silly talk, nobody cares. Who cares? You just make yourself look stupid. And I don't care because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm not the solution. I'm not the end all be all. I'm not a god. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm a flawed human being, but at least I'm trying. I'm trying to do distribution. I am trying to give an outlet and opportunity to small indie communities. I'm trying to do the print on demand to make it more affordable for publishers, give retailers better discounts. I'm trying. And the people that are trying to tear me down, they're not trying anything. They're not doing shit. They're not even attempting to take care of anything other themselves. So they can keep trying to knock me down, but that's the point. They see that I'm trying to do something productive for everyone, and they hate me for it. So let them hate me. I don't give a shit. Waste your life on that anger. I'm gonna spend my life trying to build what I'm doing here and let my reputation stand on the grounds of my work, my resume, my effort. And that's it. And not everybody I work with likes me, I'm sure. I don't care. I'll still do what I can to do the right thing and help them along the way, whether they like me or not. If you don't like me, just leave me alone. But if you come after me, waste your time. I don't give a shit. I ignored the dynamic duo, and they just looked stupid to everybody in the industry, except for maybe the 5 people that are their fans. And those 5 people probably should never be allowed around a school. So, I mean, who gives a shit? I don't care. I'm not going to be upset anymore over people that don't matter. And not only do they not matter to me, they don't matter to anybody else. And that's why they're yelling so loud, because they're just like, hear me. I'm here. Pay attention to me. Don't look at him who's doing something. Look at me. I don't care. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Todd? What's up, Mike? And, it took me a while to get there. I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. I don't give a shit.
I don't have the luxury to really give a shit about everything either, because I don't know how your day is structured, but obviously, prior to my current situation, I had a 9-to-5 job. So I have 9 to 5. Great. I come home. I'm doing this. I'm obviously looking at my stock portfolio, looking at stock trades. I'm looking at other things. I run an
That's
eBay
work.
business. And if I have 33 hours a day to myself, including sleep, I mean, back when I was working and running this and then doing all this shit, I'd be getting 6 hours of sleep a day, right? Not a lot of sleep in reality, right? And then on my Saturday, I'd be sleeping about 12 hours. So thank God that's how you make up your sleep, because you have to make up
Right.
your sleep. But like what happens is I don't have a lot of fucking time and so I don't have the luxury of dealing with people's problems extensively when I'm dealing with my own problems. I don't know how you feel, but everybody's got a fucking problem. It could be
Of
that.
course they do, but they're selling outrage. That's the new. They sell sex and
Oh, no,
outrage.
no, no,
Those are
no,
two
no.
guaranteed.
What I was getting at is that
I mean,
sometimes my
anybody.
problem is just getting to Starbucks, and I'm trying to figure out how to get to my Starbucks on a Saturday, right? Sometimes my problem is very simple. Sometimes my problem is very complicated. Is the point. But like again, but I don't have any. I mean, I don't have the capacity to deal with somebody's comic shit. I
Right.
just don't. I just don't
Well,
have.
if they have time for drama, then they must not be as successful as they say.
It's the same thing. I'll say this. I said it under Obama. I said it under Biden. I said it under Trump, and then I said it under Trump again. Right? I said if you're yelling at the president 14 hours a day, you should get a job
You got a
because
lot of time
because
there.
because it's fine. I'm not going to dismiss. We live in America, right? I'm perfectly fine if that's how you want to spend your time. But I don't have time to go tweet at anybody or anything beyond a basketball game, like with Brunson. Like, how the fuck did you miss that shot? It was wide the fuck open, right? Or what the shit, ref? Like, but that's a live tweet during the game. But like, I'm not actively tweeting at anybody for 14 hours a day. Instead, I'm actually accomplishing shit. But that's how I feel.
Exactly. But that's my point. My energy is into creating, where their energy is into destroying. I Anybody can destroy, man. Destroying is easy. You could step on a bug, break a wall with a hammer. You could punch somebody in the face, which sometimes maybe they deserve it, but that shit's easy. What's hard is building something, and that's why they hate what I'm doing, because I'm building something, and I'm building something with people, for people, not just myself. And we're in a very narcissistic society right now that's about, well, where's mine? And I just don't see things that way. Now, am I Mr. Altruistic perfect? I'm not saying that. I've got my selfish
So,
side. I'm an asshole sometimes, but
you're interesting, right? Because I'm very different, right? So
hey,
I'm building.
Charles.
I mean, I'll be honest. This is where you and me probably differ, and this is fascinating for me. Is that right now I am building for myself, right? And I'll explain. So I'm building for my own wealth. I'm building for my own prosperity. I'm building for my family's prosperity. But what I'm trying to essentially do is I'm trying to get my family to never ever have to rely on government,
Sure,
right?
sure.
So in certain aspects, if I become less of a burden on the government and I don't need government assistance, and my family and my future family doesn't need that, and they will be perfectly fine when I am alive and long gone, and then my children and my grandchildren and their great grandchildren will be perfectly fine, and they will become a dynasty. Whether people like that or they don't like that, that's up to them. But they are never relying on government. That takes burden off of the system, but it's not altruistic. I wouldn't say it's altruistic. But in some aspects, if I'm one less burden on the government and government subsidies and government help, and we don't need it, and my dynasty
But
of my
there is an altruism in it. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself and bringing other people along with you. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because you can't help others if you don't take care of you.
so but and also when you get to a certain level in which I believe that you should be create massive wealth. I mean, I have a very interesting philosophy. I believe you should create so much wealth that you have to create charities, and you have to create good charities, and because you need to put your wealth to good use, right? So if you have
Sure.
$1 billion and you could live on 200 million, and then you create $100 million charity,
Right. What
but
am I going to do with $2 billion? Exactly.
so I mean, I have an objective in my life, right? I mean, I also think, I mean, we could talk about charity all day, in which I believe charity is good. I believe charity makes people better, in reality, but not the point. But my point is that it's altruistic in the sense that I want to make my family self-sufficient, right? So
Sure.
that we don't so because if we're one less family relying on government, that means maybe a government program is not needed or government subsidies
Right.
not needed for my family and it could go elsewhere. Whether that's good or bad or government's good or bad, we could have a massive discussion about it. But that's how I want to reduce the burden on a personal level for my family. And I want to make
Yeah.
my family financially free, right? And so I'm
Sure.
not bringing anybody in addition beyond my inner circle beyond me, but
Right.
I'm also making sure my inner circle doesn't rely and doesn't become a burden. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like,
Of
so,
course.
but like, I'm not trying to like what you're doing is very different with fillable distributions and all that. That's
Well,
very
it
different.
is and it is and it isn't. I mean, it's funny that you're bringing this up because I've been going through kind of emotions lately. I'm a very candid, honest person, so what I'm about to say may offend some people, and that's fine. But I'm doing a lot to try to help a lot of publishers. I go out of my way. I bleed for a lot of people that contacted is when I can provide something, and that's fine. That's the nature of what we're doing here. And my wife gets on me that I give too much of myself to too many people that haven't earned it or won't reciprocate it. And I get that, but I don't want to change who I am just because of them. Having said that, I'm looking at my Papa campaign that is still needs $740 to fund. And with everything that I've been trying to do for so many people and make their lives better, do I think that maybe they could have just gave me an $8 PDF and got me funded? I do. I do.
I'm
And it
sorry.
bothered it not you. And it bothers me a little bit if I'm to be honest. But at the same time, I don't do the things I'm doing to get something in return, so I feel guilty like I don't have a right to feel that way. But I'm human. And it's just like,
See,
you know,
you're
I don't ask people for much at all. Anybody who knows me, I really don't ask for a lot, but I'll be the guy to pick you up at 3 in the morning on the side of the road when I have work at 6, and I won't ask you for gas money. So
so
I
so
guess it would have been nice if a few people wanted to step up
this is how
and
I feel.
reciprocate.
You're hitting me perfectly, right? So I got no problem. I'm not gonna go name people, but they know who they are, right? So I've helped so many fucking people when they needed the help, right? And then I used to have a buy me a coffee, and I stopped doing it because it just was negatively received, and people gave me so much shit when I ran a Kickstarter for this thing, right? For this show, right? I ran a Kickstarter for it, right? Wasn't even a high goal, $750. That's not a lot of fucking
Yeah,
money.
exactly. Right.
And we're talking about people who I've helped who needed a fucking interview when they were building their company, right? And I
And you were providing a service. It's not like you just go fund me, give me money. You were offering a service for that pledge, right? So what's the
I mean,
problem?
the way I set up the pledge is that it was sponsorships and guaranteed guest spots. And what people didn't
Okay.
understand at the time, right? Meanwhile, let me explain how much a guaranteed guest spot was. $5. That's not a fuck ton of money, is it?
No,
Right?
it's not.
And what people didn't understand is that when I was asking, is that I had 300 people asking at the time every fucking year for like 3 years to be on my show. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, people didn't understand what was going on. They didn't realize that I had more guests than I can filter.
Right.
So I came up with a
And
solution
it's
that
work.
was actually productive, is that money. Because what
Well,
happened
and
with
that's the other
money,
thing is it's work. You're putting in work and time to do this, and you're giving them a spotlight.
there
So
was no way for me to filter it any other way. There was
right,
no fucking way to do it because you have so much content that you just say, cool, $5, right? Automatically, 50% of them go away. So now I only have 150 to go through
right,
who are interested. And then out of the 50, maybe 60 pay. Guess what? Then I have to filter through 90. So I
right,
just systematically eliminated, you know, 200 potential people, right? Give or take, right? Or 150 people, and then now I have to fill up another 40 spots out of the 90. So now I just have to surfer through 90, plus the people I'm asking who I actually want on my show, who I'm interested, who I ask, who are potential friends of mine, who are helpful to me and provide me other things. So guess what? I just solved the problem, and I just made my, process go
Sure.
about 50 times faster than if I had to go through all 300 to figure out who's the best of the best. But
Right.
people gave me shit for it. And then same thing with Buy Me a Coffee. And I'm like, man, I've been interviewing for 3 years and you can't throw me a $1 Buy Me a Coffee? Like, what
Right.
the shit?
But
And
meanwhile, they'll pay for a super chat for somebody with a name. It's like, what the
it,
hell?
or you know, is better yet, I'll throw you a crazier one. They'll happily back 20 campaigns of their fellow comic people. And what I came to the conclusion, and I got no problem saying it, and this might be a hot take. I don't give a shit. I'm putting on my Stephen A. Smith Nick hat, everybody. So here's where we go with this, is that they will buy the comic book so they could potentially get into the club of the person
Right.
who's bigger than them, because they're
Right.
climbing through the corporate rungs and not
Right.
up the corporate rungs, but they then come
Or even
back
the social clique. Right.
it's
You're right.
it's social bullshit, right? Meanwhile, what they don't understand is that I know what's going on. I don't speak about it. You get into my Excel sheet of what you're fucking doing. I'm watching everything you're fucking doing. And when this thing goes to shit, you think you're gonna come walking back into me? It's gonna be the Live Golf meets the PGA Tour, Pat McAfee
Well,
solution. You got to play every fucking
well,
weekend with me.
here's the really befuddling thing about human nature, right? I'll give you an example with the distribution. We have a lot of retailers that are saying they have a wait and see approach. Now, we've been doing this for a year. Wait and see what? Because I will thrive if you stop waiting and seeing and just try to work with me. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you move on. But what are you waiting to see? It's like people will only support you once you've already made it, and they won't support you on the way up. It's ridiculous, but they will use you on the way up. They will use you as a resource, not as a human being. And I'm a resource for a lot of people right now. And I understand that. And I accept that. I do. I do. But
So I want to talk about that. Sorry to cut you off. I've now started to use other people, right? So what I'm trying to figure out, right, is you want to use me, I'm going to use you, right? So there are people
yeah,
who
I don't do that though.
no. But so I'll explain, right? You're on my show and you're benefiting me and I'm benefiting you, right? It's not
Sure.
like I'm taking advantage of you, right? I mean the exchange here. There's no question about the exchange, right? Is that you're getting publicity, I'm getting content, and we're both benefiting from this. There's no discussion of that. So that's what I mean. So if somebody says, "Oh man, I love your platform," but I don't see any benefit of interviewing somebody, right? Like I'm not, or I don't think that it's going to be a good interview, right? Like there's people that who have asked to come on the show, and I'm like, I don't know how I use you. I don't see the benefit, right? So like that's what I mean by this, is that it's got to be mutual, right? There's got to
But
be something.
people aren't looking for mutual. They're looking for what they can get out of you. I'll give you two examples real quick. Um, there was a guy, and I'm going to name him because of what he did, Mike Wierenski, who would ask me to borrow money every week. He's a father of 3 children. This is a guy I first met because he put up a post. He had no money to get his kids Christmas gifts, so I gathered up a few people and we shipped them Christmas gifts, right? And I never mention this because I don't look for credit for things I do, but it's pertinent to the situation. So that's how I met him. So this guy was constantly asking me for money. Can I borrow $100? Can I borrow $100? Can I borrow $100? And I kept loaning it to him. And he did pay me back. Sometimes he'd take a month. Sometimes it was 2 months. Sometimes it was a week. But he did pay me back. He was an admin on my page, my Phillip publishing page, because I needed an admin, though he never did anything to admin it, ever. And he kept borrowing money. And 2 years of this, and I would loan him money when I literally had no money because I felt bad that he needed it. And, this is a grown-ass man that can work, right? And he's working a job. The job's not paying enough. Well, why don't you get a second fucking job? I mean, you got kids. Take care of your goddamn kids. But anyway, So the reason why I have an issue with this individual is not about the loaning of the money, but when I told him, look, I'm sorry, I can't loan you money anymore. I can't keep doing this. Like, he only reached out to borrow money from me. That's the only time I heard from the guy, right? Didn't matter what my life was going through. Didn't matter if I was sick in a hospital, ready to put a bullet in my head. My father passed away. He didn't know, he didn't care. He just wanted $100 but loaned. So when I told him, and I wasn't rude, I said, I'm sorry, I can't loan you money anymore. He got petty. He goes, well, then can I take me off as admin on your page because getting the alerts is annoying. And that pissed me off. I mean, I was loaning this guy $100 when I had no money, because I'm building something here and it's expensive. So I was like, I tried to take him off. I couldn't find a way to get him off the page. So what does he do? This is like 5 months later. He puts up this post in Philbo Publishing pretending to be me and take shots at me. I'm Phil Russertt. I have anger issues. I don't know how to communicate with people, and I don't know how to take somebody off as admin. Can somebody tell me how to do it? I mean, what kind of low-life piece of shit are you? I loaned you hundreds and hundreds of dollars out of the kindness of my heart when I didn't even know you. And because you can't get what you want out of me anymore, I'm not an ATM, you try to do that to me publicly. Well, that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm used to. And then I got another guy who I've done nice things for. I've given him, I sold him something really cheap that I could have made 3 times the money on. And, I was on his show a few times. I love his show, but he tells me recently that I won't get enough views. So let's knock it down to a half hour because I'm not going to get him views. So he's now becoming one of those people that it's all about the views and the revenue and stuff, when I've always been cool with him. And he's asking me to get him big names on his show because I'm friends with a lot of big names after he tells me that. And I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, how am I supposed to feel about that? And this is the shit I get all the time. People,
you're touching upon things that actually fucking matter, right?
People use me all the time. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cared when my father died and I was in a bad place. Nobody cares to know my stresses and struggles trying to raise this company. Nobody comes to my defense when the dynamic duo, that jackass group, or other people come after me. Nobody comes to my defense. They all sit back. They all say, Phil can handle it. What can Phil do for me? That's what people do.
So this is where I go with this now, right? This is why this is so important, right? And this is why this is so
I shouldn't have gotten all through this because now I'm probably going to lose backers, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's honest and it's real, right? So
yeah, people don't like honest and real unless you're Charles Barkley.
That's terrible, but it's funny nonetheless. So the point I'm making is that I don't really get into this anymore because here's the problem: is that nobody fucking likes this shit. But guess what? You know what it is? I'm becoming more and more honest, right? And I don't give a fuck. And I've decided
you're gonna get a lot of haters for that. The world doesn't want honest people. They want to hear what they want to hear.
Here's the thing, though, is that I'm an investor and I call things on numbers, right? So you know what it is? If a company is going to kill it, I'm going to tell you the fucking to God truth. And I'm sorry that you're going to get offended, but I'm not here to be your friend. I'm just here to make a lot of fucking money, be free. And you know what it is? I want to be able to just say, fuck it. Because at the end of the day, you know what it is? I have plenty of friends. Stephen A. Smith, I forget the exact quote, but he said, great. I'm not in this to make friends. If I make them, great. If I don't make them, then I'm fine with that. I got plenty of them. Right? So that's how I feel. And God has blessed me, right? That's Stephen A. Smith. I forget what show he was on, but he said that. And it stuck with me. And this was maybe like 4 weeks ago. So I was going through some crazy shit. And I said, you know what? I got all the friends I fucking want, right? I went on a date with a girl, right? About 2 years ago, right? Before I'm in my current relationship. And we went on 2 dates. Fine. She said, oh man, she thought I was gay, right? Well, I thought that was hilarious. My friend thought it was hilarious. And another friend of mine said, dude, I thought you were gay too when I first met you. I did, bro, shut the fuck up. It was very funny. It was a very funny moment between three guy friends. But we're not together. I want to make that crystal clear. I'm in a relationship with a woman. I want to make the crystal clear today. But the point is that it's June. Happy Pride Month, everybody. I'm not gay. I'm off the market. I am in a relationship with a woman. I want to make that crystal clear.
That's funny.
But this is terrible, by the way. But what it wound up happening is, so, we can be friends. I said, I don't need a friend. I got plenty of them. And that was the text message I sent to her. And I put it up on Facebook. People were like, what the fuck, dude? And a few people said to me like, dude, that's a great fucking text. Good for you, man. I said, thank you. I don't want to be friends with you. I'm not interested in being your friend. I'm interested in being in a relationship with you. I don't want to be, if you don't I have plenty of women friends too, but like I wasn't interested in her as a friend. But the point is that I'm making is that I like this brutal honesty, and I'm becoming more and more like it. So because
it's freeing to not have to be a slave to the bullshit PC game where you're saying things you don't really mean or feel just so people will like you. It's very freeing. You want to hear something funny? My wife literally just crawled in the room so you couldn't see her on camera and texted me and asked me, "Are you okay? You sounded like you were yelling." My wife is a very intelligent, beautiful, hardworking woman. People look at her and me and they're like, how the hell did you get her? And it's a fair question. Duct tape and chloroform. But anyway, she is the one that will sit back and weigh things. And I just don't have the patience or time or desire to do that. I'm just like, whatever. I'm willing to deal with whatever consequences come, good or bad. And my wife will often tell me, maybe you shouldn't have said that live, or maybe you shouldn't have posted that. And she's right if I cared. Like, she'd be right if I cared what people thought. She would be right if I was worried about people not liking me. See, this is what I keep trying to instill on everybody that I don't know if they understand. Do I want Filbo distribution and POD and publishing to succeed? Of course I do. But if I have to have it succeed by being a fraud, a fake, not being true to myself, or playing your bullshit game, then let it all fucking crumble. I don't care. I don't want to win that way. That's cheating to me. I'm not going to win because I hobnobbed and kissed somebody's ass and some big guy liked me because I said everything he wanted to hear and it gives me a chance. I want to win on merit. I want to win because I got in the ring, I lasted 12 rounds, and I was the guy standing when the bell rang. And if I'm not that guy, I can live with the fact that I gave it my best. I just wasn't good enough. But it's going to be because I did it the right way, with integrity, with honesty and decency. And for those of you that don't like me for that reason, I'm going to quote Sent from a Woman. Tommy, Jimmy, Billy, whatever. Fuck you two. Anyway, I'm sorry, but that's just how I am. And, I don't care. I'm 53 going on 54. I almost died 4.5 years ago, and I'm not supposed to be here, according to a lot of people. I don't give a rat's ass anymore about what people think. I have people that show me great deals of respect, and I have people that don't. Okay.
It's funny. Let me ask you this, right? I've had people told me I was going to lose all my money on that Netflix deal. I made a fuck ton of money on it.
Yeah, you listen to everybody else, you lose. Todd McFarlane didn't listen to anybody.
And the point I'm making is that I want apologies from all those fucking people. And they said it live on my show on a Friday night. And I said, what the fuck, man? Are you people out of your fucking mind? Are you going to start fucking listening to me yet? Or are we at the point here where you're just not listening to me anymore? Right? And then I just said to myself, you know what? I don't give a shit. You know who I want to listen to me? And she's finally done it? My sister has finally listened to me. And so now her kids and her husband, because they're listening to me, are now going to become wealthy like me, right? That's what I give a shit about, listening to me. If I give somebody who, like, my personal inner circle, right? Me and a few of my friends, we all like share investment advice with each other. We all talk and we all have debates on this. while we might be semi-intoxicated, it's fun getting drunk, talking investing. It's a great time. It's DWIing, guys, drinking while investing. Yeah, it was too easy. It was too easy. I'm sorry. But we're having these intellectual discussions while getting hammered. Super fascinating, super nerdy. Shouldn't work. Beyond interesting, right? We're all like passionate. We're all like, we all have different perspectives. It's great, right? But I want my friends to be rich, right? Like I do, and they want to be wealthy too. We all have different philosophies, and I mean these are heated debates with particular spirits in us, but not the point. But like if you don't like, this is why I stopped sharing advice on this shit though, is because it's not that I'm not willing to die in the hell for this. It's that no matter how hard I die, it doesn't matter how many times I'm right, you're still gonna fucking argue with me. Colin Hurd said that.
Yeah, but again, you get to a certain age where you just accept that this is how people are, and you can't change people. Look, someday it could be 5 years from now, 5 minutes from now, or 50 years from now. I'm going to be gone. And there might be some people that cry or mourn or come to my wake, maybe 5 or 10. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It used to matter to me. It doesn't matter anymore because you know what? Even those people will forget about you in 5 weeks. What matters to me is that when I move on someday, and I do believe you move on to a heavenly place or otherwise, and that's just my belief, I want to know when I stand before God, I want him to know that with every mistake I made, it was never with malice, and that I did the best I could to be a good person, and I really wanted to be there for other people as best as I could, no matter what they did to me. If I
Yes.
loan you $5 and you go and you spend it on drugs, I don't get bent out of shape. Oh, you took me. My pride doesn't get hurt because you know what? That's your dealings with God. I did something to try to be good. What you do with that is your problem, not mine. I don't care anymore. I don't care about the Wheelers. I don't care about Travis Gibb. I don't care about Adam. What the hell is his name? Adam Freeman. I don't care about these people who come after me. I don't care about them who badmouth me or try to take me down, because they try to take me down for one reason. I am substance. They are not. They're frauds. They're jokes. And all they do is cause chaos and destruction instead of build and make something. And I'm trying to build and make something. So they can do the YouTube channels. They can dox my home. They can put up blogs and posts. They can try to bash the distribution. There's only two people that can stop me, and that's God and me. Nobody else can stop me, and they're not going to, so they can keep trying. And for those of you who support me, I thank you. God bless you, and I appreciate you. For those of you who don't, and you leave me alone, cool. For those of you who don't, and you come after me, karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. But I'm just excited because we're going to do distribution with POD. It's going to be a game changer for the industry, which some people don't like because the grifters hate that. Fuck the grifters.
Let's talk about that because I'll just state this that I tell people to go fuck themselves all the time, and also I have a different philosophy also about that, is that I just remove people who are problematic from my system.
Yeah, I don't even address them anymore. Who cares? But the same people that were attacking me called me a legend. I mean, how stupid is it? You call yourself a legend killer, and you put my name up there with Ethan Van Sciver and Brian Polito, and you cross my name out, and you put me up there with Rob Liefeld.
I don't know. Are you
a call yourself a legend killer, and you put my name up there with some legendary people in the industry and cross it off like you just insulted me. You just called me a legend, you freaking retard.
Are you a wrestling fan? Are you a wrestling fan by any chance?
I don't watch it anymore, but I was.
Did you know who Randy Orton is?
Yeah, of course.
He's the only legend killer in reality.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend here. There's only one.
It's just funny. I couldn't help but laugh at it, actually. I mean, they took personal jabs at my father after he died to try to get me. They hurt my wife and my mother with that, but
if I had to make a wish, I'd like to be RKO'd. That I would love to be RKO'd. Oh, trust me. It would be videotaped. It'd be great. It'd be like my intro to everything. Oh man, being RKO would be such like a pleasure. It'd be so sick for Randy Orton just to RKO me. I would love it. It'd be great.
And by the way, just you know what? Since you kind of brought this all out of me, which I probably shouldn't have, but fuck it, who cares?
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. All the people that come after me, if they think that they're like weakening me or they're hurting me or they're damaging, they don't understand what they're doing. They're motivating me. They're empowering me. They're making me stronger. They're making me fiercer. They're making me more determined because someday I'm going to sit at my table with whoever chooses to be there, and we are going to toast the success of everything I've tried to accomplish and everyone that's as well joined in that success. And
So
that is the best revenge. Revenge is just live a happy life and let the miserable pieces of shit be miserable.
this is how I view life, right? My objective in life. I don't know how you view life, right? I
Like
want.
Conan. No,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly what I want in my life. My end goal is I want a farm in Oklahoma with a bunch of fucking land, and whether I grow anything, maybe I have a few cows here, maybe a few other things, but I want absolutely nobody around me, right? I want a dairy farm, and I want a farm
nice.
where I have so much fucking money that I could take cows that don't have a house anymore, and I just have them on my fucking farm, right? And I could give them a decent fucking life, even if they're only producing the half the milk they need to produce, and there's no freaking problem with them, right? Like ideally, and the reason why I want that is that I want a dairy farm, right? I want a no-kill cow farm within reason, because obviously sometimes you're gonna have to put a cow down. Nothing against Sally the cow, but it might be her time to go, and it might be humane to put her down. But I want a dairy farm, right? And I want nobody around, and I want hundreds of acres, and I want nobody to bother me, and I want my neighbors to be like, hey guys, I'm not here to fuck up your cow. You're not here to fuck up my cows. I'm not here to develop this into a hotel. And you like
Nice.
your land, I like my land. I'm new money, your old money. I get it. Your old farm, I'm new farm, but we're the same brand. Because I don't want to be around people, right? That's my end goal. Is to have so much fucking be left the fuck alone, right?
Brandon has the same. He used to be a dairy farmer. He wants to do it again, apparently.
So like that's my whole fucking thing, right? Like that's what I want. And then I want to have cows that, maybe a few of these cows will have some like miniature cows. It'll be fucking fabulous, right? Because the cow is not going to be an asshole, right? I mean, a cow can be difficult, but not the point. You get where I'm going with this, right?
Yes.
And that's my whole fucking end game. And that's what I want out of life. Because I don't want to be bothered, and I just want to sip my whiskey at like 6 o'clock and be a dairy farmer. Like that's it.
Then go get it.
I'm gonna make so much fucking money in everything else that I'm doing right now that's like when I'm 50, and it's gonna be wonderful. I'm gonna have grandkids, and like, we're going to Papa's farm. And I'm like, yes. And
Get
it's gonna
it.
be great because nobody's gonna bother me. I have so much.
You
fucking
want it? Go get it. No excuses. Don't wait on anybody else. Go get it.
But like, because I want to be left alone, right? I really want to be left alone, right? I enjoy quiet. I enjoy not being bothered, and I hate people, right? I mean, I love people. Don't get me wrong. I love interviewing people, but man, people are fucking difficult, and I want to touch grass. I want to touch grass. Like I love social media.
The funny thing is, the conundrum for me is people more likely than not disappoint me, and yet I'm still always trying to help them. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just having the difficult life that I've had. I don't want anybody else to have to go through that, and I don't think I want to be one of the people that I see as had made my life difficult. I don't know, but it sets yourself up for disappointment, right? Because you try not to have expectations, but it's not realistic to not. I mean, do I have a right to be, kind of hurt that more people wouldn't come in and just get Papa funded? I probably don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, would it be the nice thing to do? Yes, but do they owe me that? No.
I'm going to throw something down to you in which I mean, I think it's reasonable to say, look, I've helped you. Why can't you fucking help me?
Well, because I don't do it for that reason though, but so that's why I kind of get a little annoyed with myself. I didn't help somebody to get anything in return, and now here I am wanting something in return. So I guess I kind of get bothered with myself for feeling that way. But at the same time, I guess it's just like it's disappointing, you know. Like I'm really bleeding and sacrificing on. I don't know if people really understand what I'm doing here because real quick, let me just say this. There's a perception, right? I'm not lunar, I'm not diamond, so people don't see me with the same respect or the same um, uh, understanding of what goes into distribution. If anything, I don't have their resources, I don't have their manpower, I don't have their reputation, and I've already accomplished what nobody else has tried. I have 640 something stores. I'm worldwide. I'm distributing over 80 publishers. And I'm about to do printing as well. And I publish my own books monthly in stores. Do they sell great? No, but they sell okay. And I don't mean this to sound braggadocious because I'm really not that type of person, but nobody else has tried this. Nobody else is doing this. And people will look down on me because I'm not making millions yet, or because I make myself so easily accessible that they don't see me as somebody important because I don't play the facade. I'm not going to go to hiding and make it look like I'm more important than I am. I'm just a schmuck running his distribution business, trying to help as many publishers as I can. Do all those publishers deserve it? No, some of them have screwed me over, but it is what it is.
Let me put it this way, right? So I mean, look, you know what it is? I'm a pretty level guy, right? And look, there's plenty of people who are pretty accessible in the world. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'm a wrestling fan, but and I want to tout this out, but there are wrestlers in AEW who are massively accessible, and there's wrestlers in WWE who are massively accessible, right? Who I've had
Right.
conversations with on Twitter. Karrion Kross, who used to be in WWE, massively accessible guy. You shoot the guy a DM back in the day, he'll shoot you one right back within like 3 or 4 hours. And me and him used to have conversations on this. So there's plenty of people in the world who are at the top of their game who are happy to be accessible, right? And are not assholes, right? And so I think there is a misconception. I mean, Ariel X, I don't know how deep you are in the adult world, but Ariel X runs Evolve fights, Evolve Less fights, Evolve fights, super fascinating, ran, Ultimate Surrender. We don't have to get into that whole position. Very accomplished woman in the adult industry, well respected, right? You drop Ariel X in a conversation in the adult world, people are like, oh shit, you interviewed Ariel X, right? It opens up doors. Very effective, super accessible, right? Like, but there's other people who are also not accessible, right? But again, I think sometimes people just want to tout their ego, right? I mean, there's a book, Phil Jackson. I think it's Phil Jackson, right? I think so, right? He has this book, 11 Rings, right? Phil Jackson, for those who don't know, was on the Knicks in '73, was, the GM of the Lakers.
The Bulls head coach, then he was the Knicks head coach. Yep.
Yeah. Front office. And one of the things that's very effective about Phil Jackson, the thesis of the book, is tabling your ego. Because my ego is very tabled in a lot of ways. But everything that I've done in my life, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could fucking tout my ego. But I'm interested in making money, not touting my ego. Every time I've tabled my ego, I've made more money than if I fucking projected my ego.
The thing is, I don't have an ego or an air of arrogance, but I am confident. I'm confident in who I am and what I can accomplish. But I'm not arrogant because I don't think I'm better than anyone. But I am confident and in what I'm doing and knowing that I give it my all and I'll do what I have to do. But there is this fake it till you make it. A lot of people are more busy trying to look like they're more important than they are than actually do something of substance. And that drives me nuts. Like you're sitting there acting like you're this voice in the industry and you're somebody important when you're really just a grifter. You're just full of shit. You haven't done anything really that matters. You're like, for example, there's a guy I'm not going to mention put out this publication, and he's got friends in high places, and everybody talked about the print run was 1 million books. The print run was 1 million books, but you see what that means? That doesn't mean orders were 1 million. That means he printed 1 million. So It's subterfuge, it's bullshit to make you look like you're more important than you are. And then when I did some research and I went to stores to see who was buying it, that person was literally giving them away for free to stores to just put on the shelves, and nobody gave a shit about it. And it's like, if we spend more time
Uh,
being men and women of substance than fraudulent, foolish,
I'll give you
fucking,
I'll give you another example.
like displays, better things would happen.
I'll ask you a question about me, and you could pass on the question, right? You don't know where my level of success is, and
Correct.
where I achieve my massive success, in which and you have no idea where I achieve it, right? It's not in this,
Right.
because I don't tout how well I do as an investor in the stock market. I don't tout it. I do very well. I'm very good at this. I'm pretty fucking good at this, right? I don't even fucking tout how I do at gambling, and I'm pretty fucking good at that too, apparently. And just because I'm not allowed in casinos anymore playing blackjack, we don't have to talk about that. Getting kicked out of getting basically backed off at a blackjack table, fascinating, fascinating, super polite, by the way, super polite. They weren't mean. They didn't threaten me. They said, "Sir, we just don't want you to play here." I'm like, "Okay." And then can I catch that? Absolutely, sir. Very nice. Didn't threaten me. Didn't attack me. Can I finish my drink? Yeah, why not, man? You can take it with you if you want. Perfectly fine. Very professional. I was actually quite impressed with how professional it was. But anyway, not the point here. Apparently, counting cards, gets you if you're good at that too. Apparently, it's a problem, but not the point. But I did it right that day. I didn't make a lot of money, but I did okay. But it's not as hard as you think. But not. But like that's the thing is that I don't need to tell you how good I am at life. I know exactly how good I am, and I know exactly how much money I'm going to be worth in the next 30 years. And I don't really need to tell you how much money I'm going to be worth. But let's just say that me, my wife, and my children aren't going to starve.
Right.
Ideally, and I mean, but like this is, but like I don't know about people in comics. I mean, I don't know people's financials. I don't know if they're going to be okay in 30 years. I really
Right.
don't. But it's not my problem, right? I'm more interested if I'm going to be okay, and that's the only person that matters, right? I want to be able to drive my little Honda Civic. You know, it's a cheap car. It's effective.
Well,
Um,
actually, wealthy people don't drive wealthy cars, and they don't buy, and they don't. They usually get used cars. One of the biggest money pits is having a car payment.
yeah, I agree in most circumstances. In most circumstances, there are reasons why you would lease a car. But we're not going to get into the Dave Ramsey section of this show just yet. But
Yeah.
I agree with you mostly. I agree with you mostly. Like my father's a good lawyer, so he has his Audi. And it's an expensive Audi. But he's a lawyer, so and he makes a lot of money, so it's all right. But it's also not. It's not even like a 20th of his income. Of my both my parents are still married. I want to make that crystal clear here. But I agree with you, right? But the point is that I'll buy a Honda Civic and I'll run it for like 8 years, right? And then you buy a new Honda Civic, brand new, and you're running for another 8 years, right? Because if you're running a car for 8 to 10 years, you're golden, baby. You're golden, but not the point, right? But that's my point is that I just want to be okay. But anyway, I digress. I want to talk about the whole comic industry because I am not optimistic on comics. No offense. I'm very, very, very scared about this industry. I find this industry is right now all I wouldn't say jacked up, but definitely in turmoil. And I'm curious how you think about this because you're in the fight and I'm just looking at it and I don't want to be part of it. It's hard to make money in this space as a
It
buyer
is.
flipper.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm restructuring the way things. This is going to sound arrogant because I don't think I'm any savior of anything, but what I'm doing is redoing the model that's been the norm for so many decades that isn't working. It isn't working in the sense of bringing in new talent and new ideas and new stories and new successful publishers. Um, right now, what I see, and this is just my opinion, you have the people that are on top who are they're struggling too, mind you, and everybody's relying on gimmicks or IPs. Like you look at certain publishers that are doing better. It's because they're doing licensing deals, getting popular stuff. But you're not seeing many new stories and characters coming out that are like in the 80s when the Turtles came out. They were new, they were nothing, and now they became this big franchise. Or Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore, She by Billy Tucci. We don't have that right now, and I think it's because there was so much grifting and so much gatekeeping, and there was so many people on top trying to make sure there was no competition to stay on top. And then the Western comic world wants guaranteed wins, so they just regurgitate the same shit. I mean, I'm glad that Batman, Absolute Batman's doing well, but it's just Batman again. But now it's a broke Batman who just beats up cops and everybody else. So it's like, we're not really doing anything new. We're not reinventing the wheel, right? So, and it's one comic that we're thinking is saving the industry when it's not, because eventually that fad will run out, just like the Ultimates, just like 52, just like everything else. And we're just going to keep repeating the same cycles. The structure of the industry has to change, and fans' mentality has to change. And this is where I'm going to get a lot of flack. But fans buy into branding so much. And what I mean by that is this: you could have a famous writer that hasn't written anything good in the last 10 years, and people will flock to them, throw money at them, line up at the conventions for them, and continue to bolster their books, and the books just aren't any fucking good. But then they'll look at a guy, a small publisher that is putting out some really great content. The writing is solid, the art is there, but because they don't know who you are, the mentality is, well, I don't know you, you're not a winner yet, so I'm not going to back you until you're a winner. Well, you don't become a winner until people start backing you, and you're missing out on great talent. And this branding concept is a bad thing. And fans don't understand it's bad for them too, because branding is what gets you shitty TV shows of characters you know, and that you keep throwing money at and then complaining about, than that one you didn't. Like, there was a show called Raising Dion, I think, Raising Dion, that was on Netflix. It was based on a webtoon comic. The first season was very good. Nobody knew about it until the season came out, and then all of a sudden people really liked it. People jump on bandwagons, and that's all about branding.
I mean,
And that's a shame, because it's all a facade.
I'll throw something out there to you. I mean, I just got into this app called Emoji, right? It's a manga app. You get one free chapter a day of whatever manga you pick up, and it's great. So every day I'm logging into the app and I'm having a blast because I wake up in the morning while I'm eating my breakfast, I'm reading manga, and I'm reading some crazy fucking shit that I wouldn't normally read. But like, it's a free app and it's great. So I'm like reading about like this like high school delinquent who meets like a gang and he's trying to stay out of juvie, and he
They
winds
do
up getting
different things.
out of trouble. But it's one free chapter a day, right? It's a blast.
Right.
Because I'm not paying for it, but like I look forward to it. It's such a unique way to read, where every morning now it's like part of my schedule.
Yeah, but again, but anime and manga are different because they're very loyal fans that love the genre, and they will do that. But when you look at Western comics, you could give a comic away for free. Like, if I gave Papa issue 1 digital away for free if you just signed up. And you know how many people didn't read the book for like 4 weeks, and then they said, "Oh, this was really good." Yeah, I had a guy come up to me at a show, and he bought Papa from me, the physical copy, back at a show, a Huracan, run by Dave Donovan in Rockaway, in November. He came to me at the show that I was at Sunday, and he goes, I didn't read it. It sat on a pile for months. He goes, and then I finally got around to reading it, and my God, I love this book. When's this? Do you have the second one? And I was like, it's on a Kickstarter now. And my point is, because it wasn't the hyped up next big thing, he wasn't eager to read it because he doesn't know who I am. It wasn't a big deal. I mean,
so the point I was making was because I agree. I don't disagree with what you're saying. Is that the way I'm reading things is also different. Where it's like I have an incentive to read something on
Sure.
my app that's in an app.
Problem is though we can't give away free stuff all the time. I do. They still don't read it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't read
no.
it.
So the point is that like I have this position where I'm not saying because the way manga is structured is that it's a chapter and it's also different the way it's
Right.
structured, but it's the idea that it's like it gives me like it ends like I get like 30 pages and then it ends on a cliffhanger and then it's like
Right.
what happens next and now I need to know at 8 in the morning it resets and I'm like fuck I gotta read this at 8 in the morning right and it's just because I'm not saying that's part of the answer also is how I read something. Like that's my issue with global comics is that I don't think that they should be allowing let's say somebody has 12 issues, maybe it should be that you can only read one issue a day. Because I think you need to give incentive why somebody should come back. Because
Right.
and that's the whole thing is that now I'm really interested in coming back onto the app and now they got
Well,
me back on
it's a double-edged sword, and I'll tell you why. You wouldn't expect them to give Batman away for free, but you expect me to give Papa away for free because I'm not a name, you know? Or but Batman doesn't is the one that has all the money. I don't have any money. So the fans look, fans keep talking about wanting something new and fresh and exciting. They keep complaining about throwing the money at the same regurgitated bullshit. The Star Wars show sucks. The Star Wars cartoon sucks. The movies suck. But you keep paying for it. But here's somebody right here in front of you that has industry legends that respect what I'm doing and say it's good. Will Spatasio, founding father of Image, you know, Chuck Dixon, one of the greatest comic book writers of all time, who just had his novel adapted to a movie with Jason Statham. Peter David, rest his soul. Howard Mackey. These are guys that said my books are solid. And do you think that matters to anybody? No, no. But they'll pick up that book just because that's written like total dog shit, just because it's a brand that's been around for a long time. It's frustrating. I'm in this weird limbo spot where I'm well respected by a lot of big people in the industry, but I'm not respected by the fans because they don't know who I am. And you do everything you can to keep grinding along, and everybody that reads my books comes back to me eventually and tells me how good they think they are. But a lot of times they sat on a pile for a while because they weren't eager to read it. You talked about being eager to read that manga. Well, people need to be eager to read these independent books. They get these Kickstarters and then they don't read them. The piles, 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 piles just up next to their bed. That's not helping anybody. And then they read it and they like it and they tell the creator, but they don't spread the word and create a buzz. God, you got to check out this book, Tragedy. It's freaking good, man. I mean, I had free comic book day at a store out here, Fourth World, which is the largest store in Long Island. It's probably the most successful store in the 5 boroughs. And there's 6 people with it in their pull list, I think. And one guy couldn't make it to the signing. So the store owner came over and he goes, "Hey, Phil, this dude bought every cover of every issue up to issue 7. All right, because it's monthly. And it's like 14, 15 covers. And he goes, he loves the series. He said, whatever you would charge to sign them, he wants them all signed, whatever you would charge." I'm like, I'm not going to charge him. What are you fucking kidding me? He just bought all these books. So I signed them all and I put them back and I gave them to him. It was such a wonderful, humbling experience that this dude, who I don't know, he's not a friend, he doesn't owe me anything, loved it so much, collected everything, and wanted me to sign them.
That's an issue too. You're touching on something else where I've heard stories where like creators or indie are charging for signings, and I'm like, are you guys on drugs?
Look, I mean, I understand at some point maybe you have to if you have flippers and stuff, but I'm not at any level where anybody's flipping my books. I'm grateful that you bought the books, building up. I'm not going to do that. But the point is, though, everybody who reads my books, everybody, this is not me saying this is them, tells me how good they are. I mean, I had one guy say Arcane Syndicate. He's been collecting comics for 40 plus years. It is the most fun he had reading a book in over 20 years. And it's humbling, and I'm so grateful. It doesn't go to my head, but it is frustrating to know that people are really enjoying my content, but they won't give it a chance because they don't know who I am. You know what I mean? Same with the distribution. Right now, there's an FOC group on Facebook that is always complaining about Lunar. The books are coming damaged from the publishers. The books didn't show up. The order's wrong. You can't get anybody online. You can't get anybody at Penguin Random House or Lunar or whatever. The blind bags are bullshit. Complain, 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 complain. Do you think these same people will give Philbo a shot? No. You want to know why? Because I'm prepay. Because they don't want these stores don't want people to have pull lists and not pick up their books, but I'm supposed to give them a net 30 or net 60 and hope that they'll pay me. I mean, you can't make this shit up, man. I'm a little guy. They're not ordering more than several $100s. I have some people that do order a couple $1,000s a month, but you get that big bill from Marvel and DC. I'm the one who's going to get slighted if you're short money. So yeah, I have to be prepay. We're not major orders. I'm not a venture capitalist. I'm a little guy trying to do worldwide distribution. And the store is going to complain, oh, you're not going to, give me a net 30 or net 60. And then they're posting online about all the people that they put books in their pull lists for them and they didn't come pick them up. It's kind of the same principle, right? You want people to come pick up their books in their pull list. You're not charitable. Well, neither am I. And unfortunately, Diamond was charitable for how many years? And they could be when they had Marvel and DC. But once they lost the big publishers, they lost millions in unpaid invoices. I can't do that. I can't. And then they're like, well, why don't you give 50% discount? Because you bought 3 books. How am I supposed to give you a 50% discount when you bought 3 books? Do you know how wholesale works? They want free shipping. They want 50% discount. They want net 30 or 60. Come on, let's be fair here.
I bought, on tests, right, from people of 15 books, and they gave me a 50% discount, but they had to, right? So the books retail is 15, and they gave me a $7.50 discount. Tom Hutchinson.
But they retail at 15. You can't retail at 15 in the direct market. They're $4.99 books. Their print cost is already $4 and change.
The point I'm making is that if I say to somebody, look, I would like to test this in my store, that's one thing, right? First thing, once we get into this whole position where now but that's also on an eBay store. It's also a little bit different when you're buying some variants or limited 100 covers, a little bit different. But the point that I'm making is that if somebody said to you, I want to buy 50 copies of your book, a particular book, or a few books from you, and say, I want to do 150, you can move a little bit with the price, right?
Of course. We already told them here's the problem. We said if you buy 10 of the issue, we can give you a 50% discount. And the reason is we need you to buy 10 for it to make sense, because these people are losing money, these publishers. The stores will sit there and say, like, if I walked into a comic store and I want to buy an action figure that's been sitting there collecting dust for $25, and I say, would you do it to me for $22? That store will be like, no, man, I'm not doing that because I'm going to lose money. But then they expect the publisher to lose money. It doesn't make sense. It's like, how about we all work together? And with the POD, it solves the problem, because my print costs are going to be low. I'll still make money. The publisher is now going to make money, and we can afford to give the 50% discount to the store if they buy, a certain amount. And basically, how it's structured is, if you buy less than $100 of product, you get a 40% discount. If you buy from $101 to $250 of product, you get a 45% discount. Any order of $251 or more, you will get a 50% discount. That's more than fair. We are still prepay, but other than Diamond, Lunar, and those distributors, what retailer lets you walk in, grab the stuff, and walk out and not pay for 60 days? And then why should I incur the expense of having to track you down and invoice you for payments you owe me? I'm not in the business to bust your balls to pay me what you owe me. That's not how this works. You go to your Amazon cart, you pay on checkout. You go to Restaurant Depot, you go to Costco, you go to Michael's, let me
ask this, right? I mean, do you accept credit cards, or is it all debit?
No, it's credit card, debit. You pay however you want.
So I mean, let me put it this way, right? So I mean, the way I buy cards, right, It's an interesting way how I do it is that I break up the payment into four. So it's every 2 weeks. But so I use Klarna or I use Shopify or Affirm, right? And the reason why I do that is that the bill gets broken up into four, no interest on me. I have the money, it just allows me to space out the bill, right? So if I'm buying $180 worth of cards, it's whatever that payment is into four. But Tops, who I buy from, gets paid the money directly, and then Affirm collects the money on the back end. So the reason why I do that though is that it allows me to space out payments over 2 months on my Apple Card.
But
And
the
then
problem is I have to keep track of all that. That's labor
so
costs. That's
so
bandwidth.
let me explain how it works. So Affirm pays Tops the whole money up front. For a small fee, they take maybe like 2% off of that. And the reason why Tops likes that is that it makes the sale for them, but Tops doesn't have to track out down the money, right? So it's the whole setup. But by the way, if you have that set up and you can set that up as a payment option, and somebody can bring up just a payment into
All right,
four,
but
but then you don't have to deal with it, right?
but you have to understand. But you have to understand something. My operation costs, the publisher's production operation costs. We're not even making money. They're not even making money when they get their full payout, and they're supposed to take a quarter of that payout each month. They can't sustain that way. These publishers, they literally spend $3 and change to $4 to print a book because their orders are only what, 300 books, 200 books. They're not getting offset prices for that. So to take a quarter of that up front, how do you continue to put out a book each
No,
month?
no, no,
They
no,
need
no,
to
no,
get
no, no,
paid.
no. So the way it works, I don't think you understood. So the way it works is that you get paid all the money up front from that. You don't get the quarter. A firm takes over and they
So the
basically
firm
pay.
gets the quarter and they follow them up.
Yeah. And so the concept is that you
So
might,
I get paid in full and then a firm worries about getting their money.
but you take basically a 2% less on the whole thing. But it solves the problem for the publisher or whoever wants to do the order because they get to bring up the payment.
But then
But you
I understand, but then I have to take that 2% and I have to put it on the publisher and they're already losing money.
So the reason why it works with Tops though is that it's just a way to structure a payment. I
Because
mean,
Tops has the capital, exactly.
yeah.
People have to
So
understand.
no,
I'm a
no,
start.
I get it. I
No,
get
I
it.
know you do. I'm saying this to those that may be listening. I'm a startup business, small guy. I'm not a venture capitalist. I didn't have millions of dollars sitting in a bank that I can sit here and front stuff.
Yeah. It's
And
also
if you're not going to support the business, I can't grow to the point where I can start giving you those. It doesn't
your
work like that.
margin. It's also Tops on a margin level when they're producing cards. It's their margin is so big, right? That they
Right.
can afford that, right? And it's not good or bad. It's just the
Dude,
stage they're at.
if there's even a profit margin on a single issue
Yeah.
these days in comics, it's 50 cents, maybe a dollar if you're lucky. You know what I'm saying? So there's no room. But again, we came up with a solution with my print on demand. Once we get that running, the publishers will walk away with money per book, no matter how many they sell. And that means we can afford to give the retailers a 50% discount if they buy $251 or more, which I think is reasonable. There's 3 tiers of discounts because you can't expect to get 50% off if you're buying 12 books. It's just not how wholesale works, and it's not reasonable.
Agreed. I mean, the way Tops does it is that if you buy one card, it's one price. If you buy 5, you get a certain discount. If you buy 10, you get a better discount. If you buy
Again, with their profit margin being what it is, they can do that.
but
For us, it would have to be significantly more. Like I said, if they bought 10 issues of 10 copies of Tragedy, then I can afford to give them a 50% discount because the math makes sense. But if you're only ordering 3, I can't.
So the way it works with Tops is that you get like a 15% discount if you buy 5 cards, right? If you
Right.
buy 10 cards, you get like maybe a 30% discount.
Right. See, you're looking at lower percentages. These guys want 50%. They want half of your earnings when you created the
So
product.
with you get almost so a autograph card will be 180. You get it drops so typically an autograph card at Tops, if you're trying to pull one on a Tops now, it's $12. If you buy 20 of them, it goes down to $8.50, right? Per card, which is $170, give or take. So you're getting a significant discount per card. But if you only buy one of them, you're going to pay 12 for it. If you buy like 10 of them, you're going to pay 10 for it. And so it goes down the more you buy,
But
right?
again, their whole overall volume is how many hundreds of thousands, at least
It
millions?
depends. It depends on the card, right? There's been positions where there's only been like 400 printed and they've lost money. But
Right.
typically, but
But
overall,
again, that's a good point though. They sold 400 and they lost money. These small publishers are, a lot of them aren't even doing 400, and our profit margins are already a lot slimmer and the discounts are already a
oh,
lot larger.
trust me. When they sell only 490 of a card, I'm ecstatic because if I bought that card, you get parallels in those, and that number shoots up like a rocket.
Sure.
It's
In the
sick.
secondary market, yeah.
And everybody claps, by the way. There was a print order that was only 462 were printed, and there was 5 parallels in the order. It was sick. Everybody was like, "What the fuck?" Like everybody made so much money, and Topps, by the way, was thrilled about it because you know what happened? They made more money from that trade because everybody who got in on that order wound up coming back and was ecstatic, right? Because it was good morale for the position. But they also sometimes sell like 300,000 cards in one order too. So nobody feels bad for Topps. Also, Topps has lost money on the Paralympics, but those cards are sick and they're great. They did the Olympics and then they did the Paralympics right back to back. And Topps said, we got to be fair. And they were great on it. They were awesome. They lost money on the Paralympics, but then they made so much money on the Olympics last year. It was sick. So they were like, we'll just do the good thing and the cool thing. And we'll do the right thing. Brilliant company because it creates so much morale. Brilliant, but not the point. So, but I get where you're going with the argument completely. So I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to make that crystal clear
No, no,
that
no. I'm not being argumentative with you at all. And I know I might even sound like I'm angry. I'm really not angry. I'm just passionate. I get passionate when I talk.
oh, I wasn't saying
Um,
any of that either. I was thinking I was
yeah.
being argumentative.
No, no, no. And the truth is, you could be. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Go for it. I mean, that's the point of it. The more interesting discussions are when you don't agree because you get different point of views and maybe you learn something or maybe you go, oh, I agree a little bit with him and I agree a little bit with him. We don't have to be this you're right, I'm wrong, black or white, and if you don't agree with me, you're a piece of shit. People are just dumb.
No. The point I'm making about all of this is that I like to find payment solutions, right? Because anytime
Sure.
I could break up a payment on anything, I tend to do it, right? Because but by the way, my philosophy is that I always have the money. I could pay any of my bills today,
Right.
um, in full. But if I could break it up, it just alleviates stress and it gives me the ability to operate with capital.
Right.
Because when you have a business that's fluid the way mine is, it's very, very helpful when every 2 weeks you have to pay a fourth of the bill versus every paying the bill prepaid up front. Because I don't know what's going to happen, right? But at the same time, I completely get why you're prepaid because you're a business and you need your capital now to print the book. I mean,
And
right?
to be honest with you, even if I was rolling in dough, do I really want to trust people to do the right thing and pay me when Diamond lost millions in unpaid invoices? I'm not here to lose millions. I'm not. And then it trickles down to the publishers. Publishers need to get paid. By the way, I mean to ask you this. You always look to the side like there's someone there. Is there someone there talking to you behind the camera?
Oh, no. There's a basketball game going on. My bad.
Oh, I always think like, is there somebody there you're looking at and talking
No,
to?
no,
Okay.
there's nobody there. There's a basketball game, and it's pretty intense in the last fourth quarter. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I
No,
get
that's all right.
distracted.
No, it's fine.
I'm
Um,
sorry. Like, I'm just looking at the score.
I honestly, this went like a totally different route with some of the frustrations I've been dealing with, and
I'm sorry. I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no,
Like,
no, no,
I'm
no.
not
To be
intentional.
honest with you, it was cathartic to get it out because I don't like to hold my tongue. I don't, and there are going to be people that maybe they catch wind of this and they don't like it, and
I don't
they're
care.
going to be turned off by it. And that's their choice. I don't ask anybody to like me. I don't
Look,
ask anybody to
I,
agree with me.
I'm a
What I
strong.
will say is just leave me be then. And the
I'm a
people that do
strong
want to
believer.
work with me, work with me.
I'm a strong believer that I believe combat just of ideas are the best way how to get better ideas, right? I don't believe in censorship, right?
I don't
There's
either.
what did you say?
I don't either. You can say whatever you want. I don't have to like it. I have the right to walk away, but you have the right to say it. Period.
So I believe in jousting of ideas, right? And there's plenty of ideas, and look, plenty of my ideas have changed. So I used to be anti crypto, right? I'm very pro crypto now. It took about 5 years for me to get into the crypto chain and understand it and appreciate Bitcoin and really understand the use of Ethereum and things like that and the uses of it. But it didn't happen overnight. But you talk to people, you get into it. Doesn't mean I'm anti S&P 500, anti stocks, either anti fiat currency. It's just an addition to my positioning, right? I've also used to be, for other things too that I've changed on, and I'm allowed to, have viewpoints that change, right? I mean, my viewpoint on abortion has changed, right, over the last 10 years. And so I have a different opinion than I did 10 years ago, right? I also believe that ketchup is still evil, but not the point here. Not a ketchup fan. So that hasn't changed in the last 20 years. So, three examples of how I've changed on positions here, but not the point, right? So that might alienate people also. But that's my point is that but anyway, that's how it is. And I don't know how this game's going, but let's go Atlanta Dream because I like to dream. So I'm sorry, I got a thing for Angel Reese, and she's on that team, and she's rather cute. I
Really?
Oh my God, she's a lot better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, have you seen Angel Reese? I mean, if you had to pick between the two, I know you're married, so you don't have to answer that question. I am not married, and my girlfriend definitely knows that I have a crush on Angel Reese. She definitely knows that. She also
That's
has a crush
funny.
on Angel Reese, and I think my girlfriend's straight, and I'm straight last time I checked. But she said, "Yeah, I would leave you if Angel Reese said." I said, "I would leave you too." This is
That's
not a
funny.
debate here. Very funny conversation. Very funny conversation. So if Angel Reese came out to my girlfriend, she's like, "Come with me, honey, tonight." My girlfriend's like, "I'm sorry, it's up, man." I'm like, "I understand. I can't object. I'm sorry." It's like it's kind of like it's a once in a million thing, and I would just have to accept it. It's kind of like if you're in a club and Derek Jeter takes your girl, you're kind of like, I can't do anything about this. Like, but I guess you could say, hey, it's fine. You take her. Could you just give me some Yankee tickets in exchange? Like, I think it's a reasonable, but
Let
you
me get
know,
something out of this.
he might give it. He might give them to you. He might give them to you. I don't know. But I digress right there. Now that we got all the anger out and basically dissect comics, and I'm sure you and me are both going to get canceled here. But it's all right. It's all right. We speak freely. I'm an adult conversation. We're having adult conversations. I believe there's covert bullying going on, and if people hate me and they hate you, well, fuck them. That's what I say, right?
I don't care. Yeah, I don't. Just leave me be. You don't like me, go your way. I'll go mine. Well, that's good. Live and let live. There are people I absolutely cannot stand. I don't go after them. I leave them alone. Just do you, be you, do your best. Because I honestly believe someday we're all going to have to own up to what we do. And maybe I'll be wrong and I'll find out, or I won't find out because it's just black oblivion. But
Well,
um, I just know that at least I can look in the mirror every day.
I could
And
tell you that me. So I don't technically believe in an afterlife. I think nothing happens. But if I'm wrong, I will be going down there, and all my friends will be down there, and we will have Tom Brady down there and Rob
um,
Gronkowski. And I'm not a Patriots fan, but all I know is that we're gonna have the best block party on the fucking planet. And boy, you people in heaven are gonna be angry with us. Yeah, and I'm gonna be so busy shaking the hands
well,
of
I
all my
again, I don't even look for the reward of heaven. I just don't want to be.
friends.
I don't want to be what a lot of these people are. I just don't want to be that.
No, no,
I
no,
look
no.
at.
I don't think you understood. I'm
No, I'm
choosing
not
to
talking
go
about you.
down there for a reason.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying in general, like a lot of people they try to do the right thing because they want the reward of heaven. I don't I don't even know if there is a heaven. I believe there is, but I don't know until it happens. I just don't want to be part of the problem in the world. I don't want to be one of the people that makes the world hard. I have to give my daughters hard lessons at 14 and 12. My daughter's going through stuff because people are rotten, and I don't want to be one of them. I want to, I just want to be part of the solution, whether it's
I,
the comic
I
industry or
so
my community. I just want to be part of the solution.
the way I view life is that I want to live a good life. I want to do the right thing, and that's all I want to do. Right. So I don't want to hurt you per se. I mean, as an
Right,
investor, and I make trades that people are going to be on the wrong side of the trade. Right. Just by nature, I buy something, I sell stuff. Some stuff goes up, some stuff goes down. But I'm not intentionally trying to fuck somebody over. Right.
right, right,
It's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen because it just is, right? There's no getting around the problem with that. But I'm not here to intentionally fuck somebody over, right? And for the most part, I try to sell things at a reasonable price. I try to be a reasonable human being, and I try to treat people, and I try to give people the best deals I can give them, right? So if I buy a card for $5, and I'm usually selling these cards for about 8, and if you were to buy them, it would cost you 10. So with free shipping, might I add. So you're getting the card for $2 less. Will the card go up from $8? I don't know. It could go up, it could go down, but you are getting it cheaper than if you were to
right,
buy it for tops because I get a wholesale deal essentially. So you're saving money. And
right,
I'm making a little bit of money. You're saving money, and everybody's doing better. Now, I can't tell you that the Ronnie Mauricio card that I sold somebody is going to go up or down in value. I can't predict that, but you did save money. What it would have cost you if you bought it just one of them from Tops. So that's a benefit, right? So that's how I view life, right? But again, it could go down to $1. It could also go up to $100 because it's gone both ways in my business,
right,
right? There's a card that went from $5 to $35, and I don't even have the card yet, and it's insane. And I had the same buyer buy it from me for $750, bought it from $850, and bought it for $30. And I was like, dude, you should have just said you wanted the other two. I would have cut you a break because you bought the other two, man. Like, all you had to do was tell me you wanted them. Like, it's baffling, right? It's baffling. But I didn't make the price. I don't know what the card's going to be worth, but the buyer's thrilled to buy it from me, and he didn't balk. And I just wish I would have cut him a better deal because he bought the other two, or the other 15, right? So like at a crazy evaluation for me. But like that's my whole point is that. But that's how I feel. But anyway, who do you like in comics? That's the question I want to know.
So on the independent level, Kenny Calderon is an amazing artist, amazing guy, and I appreciate him. Charles W. Morgan has a great book called Cold Cutter that wrapped up his issue 5 miniseries. Is going to come into distribution. John Hageman from 10 Ton Press, Shane Shebsey from Scratch Comics across the pond over there. A lot of great independent publishers that I appreciate. The crew at Homebrewed Comics with Chris Saloff and Dan Price and Drew Lenhart. And as far as major industry people, Ian Churchill is not only one of my favorite artists of all time, but truly just a wonderful human being.
I love Ian Churchill. He's great.
Oh, he's fantastic. I love him. And I really hope I get to meet him and shake his hand someday. Will Spertasio is just him and his wife Joe, wonderful people. A lot of Brazilian artists like Will Conrad and Geraldo Borges and Sean Chen and Billy Tucci and Larry Stroman. Larry Stroman, let me tell you, Larry Stroman, he was really good to me. I know that he hasn't, some people are not happy with him for things, but he is a good man and he was a good friend to me and he did a lot for me. And while I won't sit here and defend, things that people have complained about, but I will defend him as a person and his intent. He's not a bad man at all. He's a good man, and he was a good friend to me. And he called me regularly when I was in my deathbed, and he offered to send a ton of art for free to sell to feed my family when I was 6 weeks in bed and not expected to make it, and we had mortgage and everything to pay. And Larry Stroman, just a wonderful human being. There are a lot of great people in this industry. A lot of great people. And
My
unfortunately, it's
favorite.
just a few grifting assholes that ruin it. But go ahead.
My favorite people. Scott Lobdell's been good to me. Love
You
Scott.
know, I just saw a post about him and Scott Lobdell. He went to my show. I know him. I don't know him well, but when I see him, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's a little awkward, socially, but he's a good guy. He's been a good guy to me. I don't know what the accusations are. I don't know how true they are, but Scott was always top notch with me. That's all I can say. And he was top notch with his fans at my show.
Oh, he's great. He was great. I was at a show and he gave me a free comic. He gave me a free graphic novel for free. He was absolutely great. Came on my show. Great guy. Love Scott. Big, very helpful for writing advice to me.
Yeah, Chuck Dixon's another great guy. If you want to talk about writers,
was happy to come on my show. Happy to speak about a lot of stuff. Happy to speak about Milo Yiannopoulos with me. Awesome. One of my early ones when I was on this Batman kick. One of my favorite interviews was with Denny O'Neil. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Love my Cedar Robbins interview. Awesome.
Mike Barron is really cool, and
Love
he
Mike
did
Barron.
Nexus and Flash and Punisher and Badger, one of my favorite characters.
We spoke about Thin Blue Line, me and him. That was good. Really Mike Barron's great. Hart Fisher is fascinating. Arguably one of my best interviews I've ever done. Not the best interview I've ever done. I've had one perfect interview in my entire career. One perfect. And it's not what anybody thinks, but it's perfect. It's the definition of perfect. It's hard to explain how it's perfect, but it's just a wavelength of the guy. And
who was it?
Brother Greatness. He's a wrestler, and for whatever reason, I was just in such a mood, and he was in just such a mood, and he's such a positive individual, and he's such a brilliant wrestler, and it's perfect. I've had great interviews, and most interviews are pretty damn good, right? It's really hard to have a bad interview with me. It's really hard. It happens, but man, that interview, just the textbook of perfection. 1,300 of these. It's hard to explain, right? And I don't know if I'll ever have another perfect interview in my life. But then Dan, Paul Levitz was solid with me. But my favorite people in comics, Dan Jurgens is great. He's great.
Yeah.
Love Dan.
Norm Ratman, Adelso Corona, Mike Lilly, Chris Sotomayor is a wonderful guy. He's been a great friend to me. He's been awesome. Alex Sinclair is awesome.
I love Mark Waid.
Never met him.
Oh, he's great. We were speaking about the Obama cover stuff because I have one of those, and I'm working on getting Obama to sign it.
I'm surprised Mark got along with you well, because aren't you more conservative in your?
I am. But you know what it is? I just talk about comics. Me and him, we're just speaking for like 20 minutes about stuff, and like I'm a pretty rational human being, right? Like I don't talk about politics all that much. I talk a lot about sports. I talk a lot about comics. We're talking about Kingdom Come, and I said, "Oh man, this is great, man." Like a lot of like what I talk, like I don't really speak about politics. I used to be in DC, and since I left, like I'm like really not political. Like I don't put up political stuff like all that often. It's rare, like because I just keep my thoughts to myself. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like there's no good reason for me to have a political discussion with anybody. I don't need to pontificate my idea to people. Like I'm sorry. Like if you want to hear my political view, I have no problem telling people what I think. I've done it, but like I don't do shows anymore either for good reasons. Right. There's actually a reason, but I'm saving that for a particular interview. It's going to be brutal. It has to do with somebody you don't like. So, but that's not the point. But so yeah. But yeah, so I digress. But Dan Jurgens was awesome for me.
Yeah, he's nice. Oh, I love Bob McLeod. I love Bob. He's awesome. Really great guy. He's another one. Rodney Ramos. There's a lot. Williams. There's a lot of great people.
And then obviously I have a good affiliation with Zenescope. Ralph and Joe have been great to me. They have been extraordinarily generous with me.
I met
Um,
Ralph at New York Comic Con. Joe, I was dealing, with distribution. I've dealt with Joe.
Dave Franchini is great too. Those
Yeah,
three.
I met him at New York Comic Con. We briefly spoke. I really don't know him, but he seems like a nice guy. Everybody says great things about him.
Yeah. All three of them are great. And whatever happened with Zenoscope, I don't know the full story, but obviously, I don't have a problem with any of the three.
Right.
Things happen in life is the point. But I digress. But I obviously been speaking for 2 hours, and obviously we didn't touch upon rewards or anything like that. You got a lot of rewards. Obviously, people can go to the Kickstarter.
That's all right, because after all the shit I said today, I've probably pissed off a ton of people, and now they're gonna
Oh,
be like,
you
"I'm not
probably
backing
gained a
that
bunch of
book."
backers. You probably gained a bunch of backers, so it's all right. Because I think people appreciate honesty. Hopefully
They
they do.
don't. They don't. No, they don't. They only appreciate honesty when you're saying what they want to say and don't have the guts to say, but they do not appreciate honesty when you're directing it at them. Unless
Look,
you're Charles Barkley.
or Stephen A. Smith. Either one of those.
No, really, human nature is, yeah, Phil, you tell him. Right? That's human nature. You tell him, man. I'll stay quiet. You get to say what I would love to say, but don't have the guts to say. You take the fire.
See,
But then when you turn around and you give that same honesty to them and they don't like what you had to say, you're a dick.
but I don't give a shit anymore. It's wonderful
I don't
because
either. Do I look like I give a shit?
let me explain what I figured out, right? Is that I don't make any money from this show. I don't make any money from this show. Preston's a sponsor. He lets me do whatever I want. Because again, I'm not saying anything super radical. I'm
Yeah,
a
but these days you don't have to say anything super radical for somebody to flip out. I mean, people have just lost their freaking mind.
this is how I view it, right? Is that I've interviewed everybody and everything. Like, you
The reason
know,
why Batman's bigger than ever is because everybody's gone batshit crazy.
that's good. That's good.
It's true.
That's funny. That's funny. That actually made me laugh.
Look, I really live by this. Not that I don't get bothered by people's behavior sometimes, but I don't get bothered by what they say. Your opinion of me is none of my business.
So I don't care what you think about me, but what you cannot say. So I'll give you an example, right? So if you think I'm a scumbag, that's fine, right? It's the same position I take where if somebody, I could think somebody's an asshole in comics, right? But if they deliver their book, I can't actively attack if they don't deliver. So if somebody actively delivers their campaigns, produces their campaigns, whether it's good or bad, if they give what their backers gave them, I can't attack their campaign because they fulfilled on their campaign, right? That would be a falsehood, right? So if I run a
Right.
business and I sell cards and I get those cards to the people, you cannot attack that because that would just be false, right? So I could say you're an asshole, right? But I can't say you don't deliver. Those two things, because being an asshole doesn't mean you don't deliver. You can be an asshole who delivers. You could be that at the same time, but I can't say you don't deliver your product to people, right? So I care about that, right? So that's what I care about. But I mean, I'll use, we'll use Bad Bug, Mike Tiner, right? Mike Tiner delivers his product. If you think Mike Tiner is an asshole, a good person, bad person, it's
I don't
irrelevant.
know him. I mean, I see him on Facebook and stuff, but I don't know him personally.
He's a good guy, right? I'm using him as an example. You cannot say Bad Bug doesn't deliver their product, is the point I'm making. You could say somebody's a dick, right? But you can't say they don't deliver if they deliver. That's how I view people. So I don't want to ever.
Most people can't. Well, most people can't be objective when they feel a certain way towards someone. Like, for example, the person that you were saying you have an issue with that I tend to not like.
It could be a bunch of people. It could be a bunch of people, but you know who it is.
It's yeah. That individual, when I was an art rep, came to. They were trying to put a rift between me and the artist, and they think I'm not smart enough to know that. But that's what they do. But my job is to get the artist work, and that person was inquiring about the artist, and I was willing to do business and be professional and amicable, because at the end of the day, I can feel a certain way, but you're not going to get it from me unless you earned it. You know, like if you did something wrong, then I'll address it and we'll deal with it. But I'm not gonna place my personal feelings on everything we do and then slight that artist or whatever. You know, it's like you interview people that I can't stand, but that's not a reflection on you. You're allowed to interview whoever you want. You're not guilty by association. You're treated how you treat me. I don't give ultimatums. I don't tell you who you should like or not. I'm not here to try to control anybody.
There are
All
people
I
that
would tell you is, all I ever say is, just be aware of warning signs of the people that can turn on you in 5 seconds, because they will. And but you have to find out for yourself. I'm not going to tell you. You can, I hope you don't find out. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they change
so
their behavior with you. But
so
those
I
people,
agree.
they
But
will turn
an
on you in five
interview,
seconds.
an interview is not the same as being in business with somebody. By
Agreed.
that, an interview is just an
or,
interview,
or
right?
being friends. Yeah, I mean that, like again, the dynamic duo used to message me and talk to me all the time, and although I knew what they were, they didn't treat me badly, so I was cool with them. And then I don't know
I
what
interview a
happened.
lot of people, right? I mean, if I'm interviewing 120 people, I agree with some people I interview. I disagree with a bunch of people all the time. I mean, most of the guests that I interview, I would say that 75% of them probably disagree with me politically, right? But the difference is that we're not talking about politics, right?
Right.
Speaking to somebody right now, we're both Knicks fans. We disagree politically completely, right? And we're like, what do you mean the fuck? What the fuck was that? That wasn't a fucking foul. What the shit, man? And we're like in the middle of the game and we disagree completely politically, right? But we're friends because we're talking about something completely different. But again, I don't if I'm just interviewing you, I have very few friends in comics, right? For a reason. I have about 4 friends in comics in reality. Out of the 13 unique individuals that I've interviewed, I have 4 people who I actively invited to my house. So like and outside of the comic room, there's about 3 other people that I've actively invited to my house. Right. That's not a lot of fucking people out of the people I've
Right.
interviewed. And my friendships are with those people. You don't know who I'm friends with on a personal level, who I know very well in comics, or even on an interview level. There's very few people I know very personally that I've hung out with, that I've done other stuff with, that I've been and met their significant others for a reason, right? And
Sure.
my relationships are kept private, for a good reason. Partially because they wanted it kept private, and partially because I wanted it kept private. But I digress. But anyway, obviously we've been speaking for a while, and we're both now officially canceled. So congratulations. Well, which is ironic because I don't know how I'm canceled, but
I don't
not
get
here.
canceled.
No. All seriousness though, where could people find the Kickstarter? Follow the Kickstarter, check it out, do it. I don't think you're gonna lose backers. Everybody knows what they're getting with me. I'm like,
I'm teasing. I don't care. The people that, if anybody watched this and I'm not backing it because of what he said, they were never gonna back it. That's just bullshit. Um, so Papa 2 real quick. Silver Age Tale, well reviewed by Chuck Dixon, major art writer in the industry. Um, it's a Silver Age tale about a Vietnam vet, 75 years old, who's going to have to do what he has to do to protect his family against the Yakuza and the Italian Mafia. It is not a typical nobody Gran Torino kind of story. You're going to have a twist that smacks you upside the head at the end of issue 1 that you will not see coming. I guarantee you will not see it coming. Nobody has. Um, and I've heard it's well written, it's emotionally charged, but the payoff on that last page is there. Go find out for yourself. I'm not going to tell you I'm a good writer. You tell me if I'm a good writer, but you got to back the book to find out. Go to Kickstarter, Papa issue 2. You can get issues 1 and 2, and you can get other stuff. Tragedy there, Arcane Syndicate, Withered, Dynamics, Shaman, other books I've written. And I really hope you support, because I want to keep a promise to my dad who passed away and wanted to see this book in print. That's not meant to be emotional manipulation. It's just fact. So if you can help me get this funded, I'd really appreciate it. We need about $740, I think. And we have 18 days left. So there's art on there. There's books on there. There's collectibles. There's a really cool tragedy mask that I'm very proud of. That's awesome. People asked for. Of course, a lot of people asked for it, and only three people pledged on it. You gotta love them. Anyway, so please go check it out. Also, if you love independent books, if you want something new, if you want fresh new ideas that are produced professionally, go to www.philbodistribution.com. Go check out the catalogs. They're there for the public. See over 80 publishers there. Awesome books, including tragedy. And tell your local comic shop to order from us that you want those books, because your comic shop, if they know that they have 5 or 6 people with these in their pull lists, those are guaranteed sales, they're more likely to work with me and more likely to support these publishers if you let them know that you want those books. And please don't leave your books to the retailers. Pick them up. Go get your pull list. They're putting them aside for you. Go get them. Support retailers. Support small press. Support my distribution. It's what's going to keep the world going around, man. We need new, fresh ideas. We need readers back in stores. We need stories. We need new ideas, not regurgitated shit. And we need people who are passionate and care about comics again. Support. You won't be disappointed. That's it.
Yeah, and then obviously I'm gonna promote my stuff here because, well, this is my show. Obviously, I'm Pop Anime Comics on my newly suspended Twitter account. Don't ask how I got suspended. Don't ask. Somebody called me a degenerate gambler, and I decided to call his mom a whore. So that's how that happened.
Oh boy. Oh my, that would have run. He goes, that escalated rather quickly.
Well, I mean, there was a few other things that were said in between, but person said, I said, dude, I'm just upset. I lost some money on this team, man. How the hell did they fuck it up? And then the person's like, you're a degenerate gambler. And I said, so I don't have a right to complain? He's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, great. And then I went a little deeper. That Twitter was not a fan of it. So, but I decided to stop taking shit on this because every one of these people wants to white knight it. And they don't understand that somebody could be upset that they lost $50 on the Dodgers when they should have won a game. But not the point, right? So I'm fighting hard. So I will be back. But probably don't do what I do, everybody. So this is the 5th time, by the way, this has happened. For a variety of, so I don't even get in trouble for politics on Twitter anymore. Or
That's
X.
funny.
No it's hilarious.
That's funny.
It's hilarious. It's like I thought it was fair game. I thought Elon was going to solve this for me, but clearly I was wrong here. So that's not the point. But I'm allowed on Instagram still. It's still on Instagram. Pop Anime Comics. Facebook is Pop Anime Comics. TikTok is Pop Anime Comics. YouTube is Pop Anime Comics. There's some other stuff that I got out there. So obviously I run an eBay store. So look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us on eBay. Got a lot of Nick stuff in my eBay store right now, which are super cool. A lot of cards. Got some Spurs stuff out there as well. So right now the NBA finals are going on, which the refs are stealing. I just want to make that crystal clear. That's how I feel about it. If anybody would like to commiserate with me tomorrow and get hammered, that's probably tomorrow night. Oh my God, I should send the Knicks an alcohol bill. Oh my God, just don't. This is why we don't interview anybody now during the NBA finals. It's a miracle you made it.
My biggest fan is here. Dude, look at the chat. My biggest fan is here, as I knew he'd be stalking this. This is great. We'll get new content. He's going to make new posts and everything. It's going to be awesome. Yes.
Ah, great. This is great.
Yes.
So in the middle of my promotion, great. Just so, as I was stating, obviously I got my eBay store, and I definitely sell things like this in my eBay store. I sell stuff like this in my eBay store. I sell stuff like this in my eBay store. I do sell stuff like this in my eBay store. And I do sell one-on-ones like this in my eBay store. And when they come in, they typically go pretty fast. So in that regard, they go pretty fast. So if you're looking for stuff like that, definitely got you there covered. And that's pretty much everything I got going on. So, yeah.
And by the way, I do look old.
Yeah, I don't even want to comment.
This industry is draining the shit out of my life.
I don't even want to comment. I'm in the middle of promoting my store, and this is going great. So clearly, but it's all right. It's all right. The dream did win tonight, so I'm pretty happy about that because I got to get my Nick money back. Oh my God, just don't even start. The refs stole freaking game 3 from me. Oh, I should send the NBA a freaking bill. Oh, but anyway, enough about me. That's everything I got going on. Just pop anime comics. You'll find me. Anything you want. And I've been saying it forever on eBay is that go to my eBay store, look for what you want. If you don't see it, shoot me a message on eBay. If I got it, I'll sell it to you. If I don't got it, I'll point you in the right direction. And that's pretty much everything I got going on. And do you have anything else you want to promote or say, or you get the final word?
I said it all. I've said enough. Philbo Distribution, Philbo Publishing, soon Philbo POD. Support independent comics, and we appreciate all the fans and everybody who's supported Papa. Thank you.
And
I do want to say one more thing. Papa is spelled correctly depending on your culture. It can be Pappa or it could be Poppa. It depends on your culture. So it is spelled correctly. Anyway, I'm just having a little fun now.
And on that note, I don't think I could have said that any better myself, and that is a wrap.